Like, I took the most liberal route to conservatism. Took a very liberal route to conservatism. And I just, I was constantly in trouble. I was always a very smart person. I did well in school. But there was an upset. I felt like the world owed me something because so much of my life seemed unfair. Like, the parents that I had, it was unfair. The money that I didn't have, that was unfair. I had an education system that was telling me it was because the world is fundamentally unfair. And the system of, capitalism in America and white Republicans is making it unfair. And I just had a chip on my shoulder through much of my life. And, I found liberalism as to be a home for that, because a liberal perspective sort of welcomes the idea that we shouldn't have to be responsible because the world is just corrupt and backwards. So why should we have to be decent people? It sort of allows you to absolve all responsibility, all self-responsibility. And I wasn't like, I was, partying, but not more than anybody else was. I was a bad person. I don't know how to say it. I just was a really bad person, a person that I'm not proud of. And I didn't treat people well. I wasn't true to my word. And I was mean. And that meanness came from an anger, a deep-seated anger.
Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, you saw the opening. We're going to talk about something about Candace that I think Candace has been telling us something all along. And I've made this case before about Candace being a Christless conservative. And I'm going to point this out because this interview that she did with Glenn Beck back in 2020 was really telling. But I'm also going to bring in another video that she did, probably her very first interview as a quote unquote conservative. And I think we just missed it. This is a discernment issue, like Christians and conservatives, the right, whatever. We need to take this as an object lesson. When people tell you who they are, believe them. And I do think that's what happened with Candace. Many people just skipped over the fact that she told us exactly who she was in 4K, in full breath. And I'm going to look at the fullness of that video clip in a moment. And we just missed it. We just missed it. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much, everybody hopping in this morning. I'm going to try to make these morning ones. Maybe we'll get a good rep scheme. I'll listen to you all and see where you all land with this. But maybe we'll just say, hey, Jason, we'll do coffee with you in the morning if you keep it short, or coffee in the morning with you on certain days. I'm going to probably put out some polls and check on that and see what y'all think about it. But before we go too far, I gotta make fun of this person. This person's got to catch these. When I ask people to email me, there's a reason why I do that. I don't do it because I don't have anything better to do or whatnot like that. I don't think people realize on the backside, this side of the camera, it's really difficult to find comments after a while. And you might be saying something really interesting. We might be having a really interesting back and forth. It's just hard after a while because with tens, sometimes hundreds of comments coming in, it's not possible to keep finding that comment. I have to scroll and look for the comment, and I got to remember who it was and so on and so forth. So that's why usually I say, why don't you just email me? Then that way I know who this person is, they email me, so on and so forth, right? So this person, I'm doing this as like a throwback. We're gonna do like a dusty comment because this person right here clearly has no idea what she's talking about. And this one is just a disingenuous person. So I'm not saying that I would have probably even wanted to have email dialogue with this person because I don't think they're genuine. But let me bring it in, and I think you all will probably understand why I'm dunking on this person. So let's keep dancing. All right. This person is pinned to the top of my video that I did yesterday about Brandon Tatum. It's called Just Business. So anyway, this person says this: "What are you doing, sir? Why would you compare Erica to God?" I just got to stop right there. If I compared Erica to God, please make sure you correct me. Call my pastor that I compared Erica to the one true living God who rescued me from my sin and death. Please, if I did that, I will absolutely give you my pastor's phone number to call him and say, Deacon Whitaker is wilding out. But let's continue. Saying if people mocks Jesus Christ, then it wouldn't be right. That's correct. But the thing is, she's not Jesus Christ. I don't know where anybody said that. And Brandon is doing straight business. His not doing anything wrong. A business is not, I'm sorry, a business is about clients. Keep you personal feelings out of this. I'm reading it exactly as it is. Focus on your membership growing and speak in a positive manner about positive things. You hate Candace so much that you do rounds on a daily basis. Try to make her a villain and Erica a god. You have this hypothetical things that you come up with, like, what if this, what if that? How about you come up with solutions? Gee, I mean, and we use a profanity in 2026. Clearly, we use a profanity. Please stop using the Bible for your horrible intentions. You literally don't know what else to talk about during a war. A war, how about you speak on that? Reference the Bible in that respect. My point is stop gossiping. All right. So, and I want you to understand, this is why I don't give like, and I'm telling you, if you really have beef with me, email management. Email management. I would much rather converse with you through email, because in a moment you'll see exactly why. All right, so let's keep going. I just said, God bless you. Thank you for commenting. I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm not going to do it, because I told you before, like, the comments get lost. I can't go back in here searching, looking. I can't waste the good time that God has given me to, he wants me to talk about wars and clients and all that stuff. I ain't got time to be doing that, wasting that time that I have, my free will, to talk about this. That's just crazy work. Anyway, I said, God bless you. Thank you for commenting. Of course you don't mean that. Smiley face. In fact, sir, God bless you. So I guess they mean it, but I didn't mean it. You just can't make this stuff up. And I just said, thank you for commenting. Oh, it posted it twice. Why did I do it twice, I wonder? I mean it. I really mean it. I guess I double mean it. Why did it post twice? See, you two be doing whatever it be wanting to do. Should I leave it? I'm gonna leave it there because I mean it twice. I guess I meant it twice. There we go. That's what the YouTube knew that I meant it double. So that's why I put it on there twice. There we go. That's what I'm gonna say. That's my story. I'm gonna stick to it. Shout out to the best live chat. I look, I enjoy commenting back and forth. I do, but after a while, it's not sustainable. Okay. And I'm not even being funny. Probably by the third comment, it's not sustainable, because there's other comments that are piling in, or maybe somebody else might add something to it, and then it starts going left. And I'm just not gonna do it. So I'll pin it to the top sometimes, and I'll try to hopefully make it stand out, but I'm not gonna do that. Somebody said you could be bad. No, I know I'm battling a bot, or somebody definitely who is not an English speaker, primary English speaker. So, but no, that's what I'm saying. Like, just email me if you really want to have a conversation about this and you really think that I'm wrong, and so on and so forth. But I do think it's adorable. The person says, talk about positive things. And in the video, I'm literally giving scripture. And if I'm not mistaken, earlier yesterday, we dropped that whole Vodi Bakum sermon. And all last week and every day since, we've been doing reviews of Charlie Kirk's debates. And I think most people have given me a thumbs up, but that's very positive. So it is odd that somebody would say, because I do talk about Candace. I do dunk on Candace, but I'm trying to do my best to balance it out. I can't worry about what I've done in the past, right? But I'm trying to balance it out. If I do so many Candace videos, I have to do so many non-Candace videos in my own mind, or at least some kind of proportion. So I don't know what this person's talking about. Shout out to them. I don't understand, but apparently, thank you so much. I just think it's adorable, and I only want to bring it in because I just want to. Well, first I want to dunk on the person and get a warm up lap in, if you will, get a couple warm up shots in before we start this video. But also, I just think it's adorable, man. People will they will argue with themselves. They will argue with themselves in this chat, in these comment sections. I ain't arguing with nobody in the comment section. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I ain't doing it. But anyway, grace and peace, everybody. Hopefully you all are having an outstanding Wednesday. It's hump day, y'all. We're in the middle of the week. We're in the middle of the week, y'all, for sure. And again, I'm going to put this out there. Maybe I'll make a community post. I'm thinking about doing some morning shows like this, kind of get some things off to start the morning off. I'm definitely going to start doing our Monday show. I think we called it a Monday morning meeting. I'm going to start doing that Monday show, giving you a lay of the land, but then maybe a show during the middle of the week in the morning time to coincide with our afternoon show. Today, I will not be doing our afternoon show. We have family dinner at church. And me, I don't know how we got out of the habit of going to family dinner on Wednesday night. So somehow or another, we got out of the habit. So needless to say, we'll be at family dinner tonight for prayer and devotion. And but I will be back on. If I can, I might come back late tonight, do like a late night if there's something good popping off. But otherwise, we'll be back on it on tomorrow, Thursday. So anyway, let's talk about it. Candace Owens went to the Glenn Beck show back in February of 2020. And I thought it was super informative. You know, shout out to Wolfie over on X, dropped this video on us on Monday. And I thought it was really informative because it gave us a lay of the land of who Candace is. And I used that in the beginning, in the opening. But I want you to hear, and this is my case that I'm making. Candace Owens was never a Christian. Never. I'm even going to go as far as say, I'm not even certain of her quote unquote conversion to Catholicism, if she even knows what that's about. And I'm going to lay out the case. Of course, y'all will definitely can push back and let me know what you think. She's already married at this point during this interview with Glenn Beck. I'm going to let it play. It's about 8 minutes, give or take. But I want you to hear, and in the, the other day when she was doing the Blues Clues silliness, maybe you could tell me when you hear a clue where she talks about her spiritual conversion, how God changed her heart. Because she lays out she tells everybody who she was, and many people put in the chat, this is who she is currently. She never changed from that back in 2020. I do agree with that. The mean person that she was, the vindictive, the entitled person, that's who she is today. She just has better hair and has a better set. But when did she ever change? When did she ever become converted? And then I'm going to also play her first interview. I think this is pretty much her first interview with Dave Rubin when she was still red pill black. So this is even before the Glenn Beck. And I'm going to just try to check. If you find any reference to God in any of this, please let me know. Now, of course, these videos are linked down in the description so you can check them out yourself, and you can do it, check out and see, check my homework, if you will. So let's bring this in. This is Candace on the Glenn Beck show, again, back in 2020, February of 2020. All right, let's go. Oh my gosh, it's 6:30 in Colorado. Shout out to the Coloradoans. Appreciate you, man. That is kind of early. Being raised a Christian doesn't make you a Christian. That doesn't. If I was raised by a basketball player, would y'all say that I have skills? That doesn't mean anything. My dad is a mechanic, and a pretty good mechanic by them. In all honesty, that does not mean that. That doesn't mean that I'm a mechanic by any means or measure. I do have some mechanic skills. I have some understanding, but nothing with the cars of today. But you see my point. Okay, let's bring this in. Let's get going. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Took a very liberal route to conservatism. And I just, I was constantly in trouble. I was always a very smart person. I did well in school. But there was an upset. I felt like the world owed me something because so much of my life seemed unfair. Like the parents that I had, it was unfair. The money that I didn't have, that was unfair. I had an education system that was telling me it was because the world is fundamentally unfair. And the system of, capitalism in America and white Republicans is making it unfair. And I just had a chip on my shoulder through much of my life. And, I found liberalism as to be a home for that because liberal perspective sort of welcomes the idea that we shouldn't have to be responsible because the world is just corrupt and backwards. So why should we have to be decent people? It sort of allows you to absolve all responsibility, all self-responsibility. And I wasn't like, I was, partying, but not more than anybody else was. I was a bad person. I don't know how to say it. I just was a really bad person, a person that I'm not proud of. And I didn't treat people well. I wasn't true to my word. And I was mean. And that meanness came from an anger, a deep-seated anger. And then what happened that sort of changed that around was, first off, I got snapped.
Okay. Because she's about to give her conversion from the person that she just said right there. The mean, the angry, the entitled, the vindictive, all that stuff like that. And everybody in the chat is saying the same thing that we're saying, like, ma'am, What this could have been recorded yesterday, ma'am. Ma'am. The only thing that's changed is the calendar. Nothing has changed. Not a thing. So I want you to hear how she quote unquote changed from this person that she is. Now remember, she is married at this point. So she was allegedly a Christian. She married a Catholic and she's being discipled by a Catholic at this point. And I'm in the chat, please, if you hear any references to anything sounding like a conversion story, I don't even care if you say she asked Jesus into her heart and prayed the sinner's prayer. If you hear anything like that, please make sure you put in the chat. Okay. We're not gonna do the Blues Clues. I'm not gonna insult you, but I think somebody, y'all are the best. Okay. Give her an Oscar. She played her part well. You know, shout out to Deb. I agree. I do think that she's been playing this role. When we go back and look at the Dave Rubin interview, I think you're going to realize we got played. I'm sorry, we got played. Shout out. That might be the name of this video. We got played.
Back with reality when I left college without a degree and because my student loans got declined going into my senior year, but I had over $100,000 in student loan debt.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, let me put a bouncy out here real quick. If anybody can find where Candace actually got her alleged degrees from, because she says that she has 2 college degrees now. She tells a story that she has 2 of them. She told Piers Morgan that she has 2 degrees. I would love for you, if you can find out where she actually got those 2 degrees from. And all I want is where she got the degrees from. You don't have to tell me that she didn't get the degrees, because I don't believe she actually got degrees. But I have searched high and I have searched low. I've searched to the east as well as to the west, and I've not been able to find that Candace Owens has a degree. But I'm just putting it out there.
And we didn't have Bernie saying he was going to wave a magic wand and get rid of it.
Right.
So I hit the ground running, and my instinct to work was always there. My grandfather just raised us we just always worked. It's an Owens quality, as my granddad says. And I hit the ground running in New York City. And
and in New York City, 100 grand, brutal.
Sleeping on friends' couches. I mean, I was, not doing well. Babysitting here, and then I had sort of a big break in that I just started interviewing for jobs as an assistant at private equity firms, because I heard that you could make, start out making $50K, if you just were an assistant. And I was like, I can do this. I know I don't have a degree, and I got hired on the spot at this firm. And it really changed things for me, because I just saw how much my employers had, and there was just an interest for me always in terms of wanting to make money, wanting to.
This is another tendency, and this is something about Candace that I've noticed. In the chat, if you all remember that video where she talked about when she was a child, she went to a little blonde haired, blue-eyed girl's house, and she realized how much stuff they had, and she was offended by the fact that these people live like that. And she was like 5, she said 5 or 6. In the chat, do y'all remember that? I remember, or something like that. Put a kid emoji in the chat if you remember. And it's just funny. You hear the same story being told over and over and over again. Somebody has something that she doesn't have and she's offended. It's almost like a trope, kind of like the movie tropes, if you will. The old detective gets called back to do one more job. The old hitman comes back to do one more job, or kind of stuff. It's like a trope. Like her trope is she sees something, she doesn't have it, she's offended. She has to get it. It's almost like a trope. I don't know another way to describe it, but that it's just a tried and true, played out trope. But let her continue, Jason. Let her go.
Have and not just wanting to figure out how I could be wealthy, how I could pay off my student loans, how I could have something. And I just worked my butt off. And then the big thing that happened was my grandmother died. And it completely changed me, because she was really.
I think this really broke her. This story right here really broke Candace. I know she had already sued the school district. She was already a mean girl. She was already, all that stuff was already in play. But this story right here, I'm sorry, this story right here, I almost feel bad for her. That's how bad this story is. I could only imagine. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I could imagine this story probably did the 1-2 punch on her, because it's pretty sad to hear, to think about it. because this is the wife of her granddad, and her granddad and grandma. I'm sure grandma played a big role in her maturation, and she always elevates granddad, which is cool. Shout out to granddad. She elevates granddad. You don't hear much about grandmom, but I'm pretty sure she was integral in her life, even if she didn't mention her, right? So we totally get that part. But watch this story, y'all.
Really the only maternal figure that I had. My grandmother and my grandmother, deeply, deeply faithful. And the last thing she said to me, we were not expecting her to die. She was hospitalized for what was supposed to be 48 hours. She just said, I worry about you. I worry about you in New York City. And, I worry about the person that you're becoming.
Wow.
And I said to her, because I was being flashy, I have this expensive bag, and I thought she would think that it was all cool, and she just thought none of it was cool. And I think
our grandparents were not that
not
different.
into it. She wasn't into my Stella McCartney bag.
Yeah.
And it was her last word she ever spoke to me, and then she died. And it took a lot out of me. I mean, I still mourn my grandmother's death. It was just it rocked my family because she was the rock. Yeah.
That broke her. That rock broke her. She looked. I mean, I had to say it. I'm not dunking on Candace about her grandparents at all, because I feel like, dang, that probably messed her up. But she was already pretty jacked up before, but that probably solidified her messed upness, if you will. Her grandma, look, grandma said, I ain't about that life. I don't care nothing about that. And that's the last thing she said to her. Ay, ay, ay. That's the last words you heard from this maternal figure, this rock in your life, is I'm worried about who you're becoming. Woo! That probably grandma saw some stuff. Grandma probably saw the truth. Grandma probably knew. Yeah, our grandparents know, just like we're starting to realize that our moms and dads knew. As we've become moms and dads, we realize, mom and dad did know something. And one day, by God's grace, you'll become grandparents, and we'll be like, yo, we know a whole lot more than we did when we were young whippersnappers. But I think this really broke Candace. Shout out to the best live channel on the internet. Let's go.
And then I wanted to make her proud, Yeah. So I just
You're still emotionally
I do. Yeah, I really do. I mean, grandparents have been just incredible people. So I just sort of dedicated myself to just being a better person, whatever I thought that was, what would make my grandparents proud, what makes my granddad proud. And I changed, and I started really getting serious about, not going out as much, not partying, really dedicating myself to getting myself out of debt, and understanding the people that they were in context of politics was they were deeply conservative. And they wouldn't say that. My grandmother didn't care about politics, but they were deeply conservative.
So were they Republicans or conservative?
Apolitical, but they were conservative.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, apolitical. They were not Democrats or Republicans.
Aren't most blacks conservative?
Right.
They just don't vote that way.
We just don't know it. No one turns the lights on and says everything about the way you were raised is actually conservative.
How do you miss that though? I mean, it's
right.
It's so clear.
Right. Yeah. It's funny that you asked that, because I've thought deeply about this, obviously, and it's so what the left has done. You have to give them credit for just how brilliant they have.
So she is now transitioned, according to her, to becoming a conservative. Now, she doesn't talk about, degree 180 or social autopsy, anything of that nature. So she kind of skipped that, because to me, those things are much more indicative of who she is and quote unquote her transformation, and whether or not what grandma said actually stuck than anything else. But she kind of skips over that. And I noticed she skips it in the other interview we're going to look at as well. But so now she's transitioning to becoming a conservative. How does she deal with her meanness? Does that mean conservatives aren't mean? Does it mean conservatives are not vindictive or anything of that nature? Like, when did you actually, when was your heart changed, Candace? And I think we allowed her to do this in our face. This video is not hidden. It's right there on the interweb. And we did not look and do our own due diligence to say, hey, yo, this woman isn't a convert. Now watch this. That's why I believe she had the falling out with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk realized that he hired her on, and she herself and her ideas were not converted. She wasn't a Christian. I don't think you had to be a Christian to work at TPUSA, but some of the stuff that she's talking about makes it very clear that she wasn't a Christian. Dare I say, even in the opposite direction, at odds with Christianity. Let's let this, I'm gonna let this tease out about 3 more minutes, give or take.
And they've executed a royal flush on Black America. And what they did was, it started in the 60s, obviously, with Lyndon Baines Johnson, the Great Society Act, the breakdown of the family, marrying Black America to the government. Don't marry your baby daddy, marry the government. We're going to give you more money. Don't, if there's no man in the household, everything starts there. When you remove the bedrock of the family, there's still an instinct to pursue paternity and maternity elsewhere. Yeah. So where did the kids get that maternity and paternity? The streets. The kids race to the streets. They culture. Why do you think the left has invested so much time in having a stranglehold on culture? And this is why culture is so important. And this is what conservatives, Republicans missed, right? How important culture is.
And I said this, I will keep saying this and I'll never stop saying it. It's not culture. It's the one question: who is God? Religion supersedes culture. Your religion drives your culture. If you go to a Muslim country, their culture looks very much like their religion. If you go to a Buddhist country, their culture looks very similar to their religion. Why do we pretend like our faith system and our culture are at odds with one another? No, they're absolutely right up under one. Culture comes from what you believe. And who is God is the most simplest question to answer. From there, everything else starts to line up. But I wanted to I thought this was super interesting because notice Candace doesn't give a conversion story. She has no recollection of how one goes from being the person that she was to the person she is now. She was in debt. She was angry. She was mean. Grandma died. Then she started converting. And at this moment, still, this is the part I want to make painfully clear. At this moment, she is married to George Farmer, and he's allegedly discipling her. So what's going on? Like, there's nothing, there isn't even a reference of going to mass or talking to a priest or anything of that nature, unpacking your childhood so that you can bring so that downstream from your religion is a better culture, is a better family structure, is a better whatever, nothing of that nature. And let us also not forget, at this time, she was still doing Degree 180, her blog site, where she's talking about the destruction of the family. So while she's talking to Glenn here, dunking on leftists and Democrats and liberal policies about the destruction of the family, she herself is writing about the virtues of destroying the family, all at the same time. Candace Owens was telling us all this ahead of time, and we just didn't we didn't pay attention. We missed it. We missed this. Now, the thing is, when I say we, I'm not saying every last one of y'all. Some of y'all have been saying Candace was a scam from the beginning. Look, I'm new to the Candace is a scam train, probably about 4 years, right? However, most of us, if we were being honest, the lion's share of people were giving Candace a pass. The lion's share of folk. And therein is the problem. I'm gonna let her tease us out a little bit more, and we'll go.
Andrew Breitbart knew, right? He said famously, politics is downstream from culture. And he was so accurate in saying that. And so Black America invested heavily in culture because they were no longer sitting around the dinner table and learning from mom and dad. They were being raised by Jay-Z, by Beyonce, by whatever rapper they idolized, whatever a hip hop artist they idolized was now raising them. And the left and the Democrats put all of their eggs in that basket. And this is why Hillary Clinton had Beyonce and Jay-Z dancing with her a few nights before election night, even though I'm sure she cannot name even one Jay-Z song or even one Beyonce album. Right. And one might even be called Beyonce. She wouldn't be able to do it. All right. She wouldn't be able to do it.
All right. So that is Candace and Glenn Beck. And this is on down. The link to this is down in the description. You can definitely check out the full interview. I just wanted you to hear how Candace goes about her understanding of conversion, or how she went from being a liberal to being a conservative. She just her stories get interesting, and they're odd. They're just odd. I don't know another way to say it. they're just strange because when I really think it's Dave Rubin. I'm pretty certain of this. Dave Rubin back in 2017. Yeah. So Dave Rubin is probably the first interview that she ever did. Okay. And this is on Dave Rubin's channel right now, the Rubin Report. And this is probably the first interview that she did. She was still called Red Pill Black at that point. So this was really early. And listening to her talk, and you compared what she said to Glenn Beck literally 3 years after the fact, is so telling because there are key elements that are missed when she's talking to Glenn Beck. Because Glenn Beck is very heavy on family, and he's very, very religious, even though he's a Mormon. He's super religious. And it's interesting the stuff that she says to him compared to what she says to Dave Rubin, who is a professed homosexual, married to a man. And I don't know that he claims any religion, but you got my point. So it's just interesting how she puts these out, and they just seem disjointed. But let's go. Let me see. Oh, we got naysayers in the chat? I didn't know. I can't see them. Shout out to Deb. Says the last note. Would be lovely if the naysayers in your chat paid more for super chats. Come on, folks. At least make it worth this while to read. I love it. Thank you so much. Hey, shout out to hey, if you're a naysayer, let me know. Now, I got time today. I got time. I have somewhere to be at noon, but I got time today. We can make it happen. Let me bring in this Dave Rubin report. And I just want y'all to hear, a lot of you all have seen this. This is where Candace talks about how books that she reads and all that kind of stuff like that. It was a very interesting interview, but there's a couple pieces I want you to pull out as it relates to her conversion story and what it was that pushed her from being a liberal to being a conservative. Because remember, before it was the death of grandma was really what was the genesis of her conversion from liberalism to conservatism. Over here, it's, well, y'all tell me what y'all think. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Wasn't.
I think most of my audience is familiar-ish, but like nobody fully gets it. I think. But feel free to take us down that road for a little bit.
Yeah. So long story short, that whole scandal is built on a girl named Zoe Quinn, who says that she was attacked by anonymous white men on the internet. And people were saying that that wasn't true. And she said that it was. And
if they were anonymous, how did she know their skin color?
I don't know. If you read the pieces in the media, it's fascinating, you know?
Yeah.
So I was doing an anti-bullying startup that I was really passionate about. And I got a phone call from her, and I put up basically a 3-minute video on Kickstarter teasing what we were going to do. I said this one sentence, which was a figure of speech that I think set the alarms off. I said, what we're doing is figuratively lifting the masks up off of trolls. At the time, she was working at Twitter. She was working for Twitter for something called Crash Override Network. And I immediately received an inbox from her on Twitter saying she'd like to talk to me about and try to convince me that the project that I'm doing is bad, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So she calls me up, and I have no idea who she is. I don't know what Gamergate is. I don't know what doxing means. And she says, you have to pull your project because people actually don't want to find out who harassed them. She said, I'm a victim, but I never want to know who harassed me on the internet.
So just to give you an update, this is the the social autopsy genesis. And a lot of you all know Candace was, at one point, she was going to start this website where basically an aggregate of your social profile online. So wherever you are, X, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, different comments, everybody can find all of your comments in one spot. So they can put in John Smith and find everything that John Smith said all over the interweb. Well, there's a lot of problems with this. And she didn't do any due diligence. It's really embarrassing what she was trying to do. It's kind of embarrassing. But this young lady who worked at Twitter, she had just gotten off of a very serious doxing cancellation in the gaming world, where people are playing video games and they're streaming it. There was a big brouhaha. It was called Gamergate, where a lot of these people were attacking her. There was a lot of bullying. Okay, that's what it is. But the young lady really said, hey, you don't fully know what happens when your information gets out there in the web. When people know who you are, you're not just an anonymous avatar and a silly name, penguin microphone. No, like when they find out who you are, it goes real south. I mean, the woman had a very valid case. She reached out to Candace like, hey, don't do this social autopsy thing because it's going to be a problem that you don't really understand. And even in that, she was actually she meant it to be a way to dox children. So you can see a lot of problems even in just the little quick summary that I gave here. So let us continue.
It was basically arguing a point that didn't make sense. If she was actually harassed on the internet, then obviously my technology would be a godsend, because they never figured out who harassed her. And I said, I appreciate the phone call. This isn't really making sense to me.
Yeah.
It
sounds literally the reverse of what you think she would have called you to say.
Absolutely. Okay. Like she should have been on board with what I was doing. So totally appreciate the phone call, but I'm not going to pull my Kickstarter. And she started crying. And she said, if you don't, it's going to ruin everything. And she told me that she spends time on 4chan because of what she does. And she saw that people were already talking about my project. And if I didn't pull it, these anonymous white men and Trump supporters, you have to remember this was during the election cycle, were going to come after me and dox my family, which essentially means put up their personal information so people can try to kill them. That's what she says.
So she said this is what they are going to do. So she was oddly threatening you with being doxed, but it wasn't she that was going to dox you.
She thought I was a total moron, I think, and I'm like, okay, I'm not pulling my project. She hangs up the phone crying. Within 2 hours, we were absolutely inundated. About 4,000 emails via Kickstarter, like, nigger, 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 die, 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 pull your project. And they have these super obvious screen names like, Trump or die, Trump 2020, white man behind computer.
That's a good one. That guy's always
me. So, and I'm like, is she kidding? All men, by the way. Everyone was like, Dave at, Bob at, no woman. And magically, everything that she tried to warn me about came true within a couple of hours of me refusing to pull my project. So I tweet very quickly, again, not really knowing the bread and butter of the Gamergate scandal. I said, all I can say is that 100% after speaking with Zoe Quinn, this girl was never harassed. She's doing the harassing. And the next morning I woke up, The Guardian, The Washington Post, and New York Magazine were all calling me. I was a nobody with a Kickstarter that was 3 minutes long. Kickstarter pulled my project, and the next day, big media. And in my head, I'm thinking, journalism major, Washington Post, amazing.
Okay, so she called herself a journalism major, by the way. Not a degree holder, not a journalist. Just something to think about. Okay, here. So we got the story. She had this project. She really thought it was going to be great. Come find out it's really not that great. People are pushing back about it not being so great. And now people are pushing. Now, remember, she's a liberal at this point. She's a liberal at this point. So, and she's against Trump. She's a liberal and she doesn't believe in conservative ideas. Just want you to remember that.
At that point, I considered myself a liberal, Democrat, if you will. And so I was like, great, I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to tell them about this girl. They're going to write the piece,
I have a bad feeling where this is about to go.
This is about to go completely sideways.
Okay.
So I speak to a person named Jesse Singal, who works for New York Magazine. And he's like, yeah, I saw your tweets.
He's not a fan of mine.
No, he is a journalist hitman, as I like to call them. And he speaks to me. He's like, yeah, I saw your tweets. I just want to speak to you about what happened, super nice. Yeah. And I tell him everything. I'm like, yeah, Zoe called me up, open and shut case. Obviously, she told me to pull my project. I didn't. And then I got harassed. He instead writes this article. And the tone of it was essentially trying to gaslight me. Mm-hmm. Oh, she seemed like a nice girl, but she got dragged into this conspiracy theory. Zoe actually is a girl that was harassed, And at that point, I realized, oh, my God, the media is going to try to kill my project. And these journalists are absolutely lying. So the Washington Post called me and I had the good sense to actually record it. I just turned on my camera and said, something fishy's here. And this girl was obvious. This girl, Caitlin Dewey, was asking me questions and she was trying to figure out who was funding us. And her job, or her role, was to cut off the funding, cut off the legs of Social Autopsy so it could never see the light of day. And she started calling around. So I actually got a tip that she had already written the article and she was going to try to smear me. And I essentially went back and forth with the Washington Post. I had caught her in a lie via email versus what she said on the phone. And they pulled the article last second and told me I wasn't important enough to run it anyways when I threatened to sue them.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, wait, there's so much here. And it's
okay. So I think it's fair to say that she's realizing that liberals are terrible people, that they're moving pretty grimy. Listen how she tells the story, y'all.
So related to everything, and we haven't even fully got to your political awakening yet.
Yeah.
So first off, I love that you said they're hitmen.
Yes, journalists are hitmen. Yep.
Yeah. Because the phrase, I mentioned it to you right before we started, I've been saying that they're activists, not journalists, but they're hitmen.
Absolutely.
Is what they really are. There's so many examples of this. That guy you mentioned, it's not even worth mentioning his name again.
Yeah.
I mean, he's attacked me on Twitter for nonsense. And it's just it's like, you guys, you're not even pretending.
No, they are hired, and the higher ups definitely know about it. They are hired to take people out and to take businesses out that, are a threat to them for some reason. And my threat was that they actually thought that I had created technology that was going to unmask trolls. Imagine what that would have done in the heat of the election. Hillary Clinton had millions of followers on Twitter. What if I actually created something and said, actually, that's all coming from, that's like one person, they've created all these accounts. She's actually not winning this election. What if I found out on Twitter that the person that was writing Black Lives Matter saying, die, 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 nigger, nigger, niggers, was actually someone that worked in Hillary's campaign to create this environment. So they were actually terrified that I created something, that was going to ruin everything.
So wait a minute. So did you actually create?
No.
Right. So that's the thing. So you didn't even create this technology.
They had actually done their job as journalists and asked me questions about what I had created.
Yeah.
They would have left me alone.
But all right. And then Kickstarter pulled it?
They pulled it. Didn't give me a reason. They just pulled the project off. An anti-bullying. Could you do anything that's more innocent or more PG? An anti-bullying. Hey, we're raising money. We want to try out this, anti-bullying tech startup type thing. We had nothing but a splash page at that point.
Yeah. All right. So, it's funny because hearing this, it all sounds incredible. And yet I've personally been part of some of this stuff. I've obviously sat across from people from Brett Weinstein and Colin Moriarty, people that have been through this monster,
right?
This dishonest media, the craziness online, all of this stuff. So, okay. So this is all happening to you. When did you start piecing it together?
Instantly. The second the Washington Post called me and Caitlin Dewey was trying to cut off the legs of the funding, I realized what I had to go back and watch the Kickstarter and say, what did I say that set this off? And I realized it was that one line. They thought that I actually, and then her saying, you're going to ruin everything. I pieced it all together instantly. And I realized that my friends were my enemies and my enemies were my friends. And the only people that covered the story extensively and accurately were the white nationalist Breitbart. Fascinating, right?
These evil
alt-right white racists covered a Black girl who was trying to do a tech startup being attacked by the media.
It's so interesting that she used the word everything. You're going to ruin everything. That's a really fascinating little play. Terrifying. And you know how sometimes one word can actually change everything?
Yep.
Can change everything.
Yeah.
One word, but you're going to ruin everything. Like, you would think that in her line of work and with all these people, they're always complaining about these trolls.
Yep.
You would have been handing them the golden ticket.
Right. And I am convinced it's because they are running essentially an anti-marketing firm, right? So they get people to go online and they can build people up or take them down, or they can get people fired up by pretending that they're white men, you know, and during the election cycle, that was needed.
Man, some of this, it's like, I try to deal with things in the most sort of real world way possible. And yet there's a conspiracy element to this, right? Like, and I'm sure you were dealing with that. Like, how far do I want to go down this? Or where does this lead me?
Terrifying.
But yet I see real world examples of this all the time. Like, every now and again, I'll tweet something that might be remotely controversial, or it's usually a joke that someone just takes the wrong way.
Right.
But then I'll see someone will tell me to like go fuck myself or something. And then I'll look and it'll have 50 likes, the response. Now, none of those people follow me. They're all anonymous accounts.
Right.
And it's like, how did you even see that?
Okay, there's a reason why I'm playing this, and you're going to hear it in a moment. I'm playing this for a reason, and soon I'll end it. But so the torture will end.
Right.
In the first, it's not even how Twitter works.
Right.
So we know that there is some shady shit here, and people.
Shady stuff happening.
It's like, how do we piece all of this together?
And think she was working with Twitter at that time. like she was running the anti-harassment chapter at Twitter called Crash Override Network. So
Mamma mia.
essentially Twitter contacted me. Yeah.
Yeah, in effect. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now you're waking up to this
Yeah.
stuff. You realize it pretty quickly, which is actually a great credit to you, I think.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people kind of see it and then you either get scared or you're like, no, I must be doing something wrong or whatever. Okay, so you wake up to all this. How quickly did that jump to the way you thought about politics?
Instantly. I mean, I became a conservative overnight. You know, I realized that liberals were actually the racists, that liberals were actually the.
So, and I'm gonna back that up so y'all can hear it. I'm gonna talk a little second, but I'm gonna back it up. So the destruction of the social autopsy project and realizing that I guess the paranoia that people were trying to unseat her project because they themselves ran an anti-marketing campaign, which is a very interesting. She creates a narrative based upon information and she makes it into the picture that she wants people to believe. We don't know that any of that other stuff was true. We don't know that. Maybe they just really didn't want you doxing kids, because you do realize she talks about in her video about it being for children. People don't want their kids' names being put out there on the Minecraft. I think Minecraft was probably really big back then. I don't know what game it was. Pokemon. They don't want their kids putting out there. That was the problem. So all this other stuff about politics and that might be true as well. But I think really that she kind of ignores the fact that people have legitimate concerns about the safety of children. This is back in 2017 when we actually still try to keep kids safe. I don't know if we can say that back now in 2026, but I digress. So listen to this again. And remember, in the previous video, when she's talking to Glenn Beck, it's very family centric. Grandma died, and grandma said she wasn't proud of me. And that caused her to change and realize that they were conservative. Now she's telling a whole different story. She brought none of that stuff up 3 years later about the social autopsy. None of that entered the chat when she was talking to Glenn Beck. Why is that? But 3 years prior, that's all she talked about. She talked about that for almost 8 minutes.
Because I think a lot of people kind of see it and then you either get scared or you're like, no, I must be doing something wrong or whatever. Okay, so you wake up to all this. How quickly did that jump to the way you thought about politics?
Instantly. I mean, I became a conservative overnight. You know, I realized that.
Okay, I know I just said I'm gonna let that play. I know I said it. I know. Listen to how she stammers here. Does this concern anybody? Listen to how, when he says, the question he said, how did you transfer this to your politics? And just listen how she stammers. Just listen. It sounds like, again, I believe many conservatives, Republicans, whatever you want to call ourselves, Christians, we got scammed by Candace. Y'all, we got scammed. And I think this is good for us to go back and look at and do an autopsy of how we got scammed. This woman is speaking in platitudes. Listen to what she says.
And how quickly did that jump to the way you thought about politics?
Instantly. I mean, I became a conservative overnight. You know, I realized that liberals were actually the racists, that liberals were actually the trolls. And then at the very same time, you have to remember, this is April 2016. Trump is on the screen saying that the media is lying, that CNN is fake, that all of this, you know, it all began to resonate with me because I realized that everything he was saying was true. So I no longer bought into this idea when they were calling him a racist, a rapist, a white nationalist, everything. I bought none of it because I knew that the media hired hitmen. And they were doing the most ridiculous hit job on Donald Trump from start to finish of his campaign.
Yeah.
So she went from writing for social autopsy, Degree 180, which was her blog, where she's writing about women. It's okay, it's romantic to have extramarital affairs, and women marry men that are on the down low, and talking about Trump's appendage, which odd story. It sounds a lot like what Megyn Kelly was saying just the other day about Mark Levin. This seems odd, but I digress. So she went from hating Trump to now, because Degree 180, her social autopsy project on Kickstarter, got harpooned, she now likes Trump. And by the way, grandma never entered the chat.
All right, so I want to put Trump aside for a second, but
Yeah.
we will get back to Trump, but I'm just completely fascinated by your story. So, okay, so you get this now about the media, right? But so what changed within you politically when you say you went from being a liberal to a conservative? Like, did you change on economics or on abortion or weed or gay marriage or?
You know, when I think back on it, I don't even know that I ever really was a liberal. I didn't care about politics.
Yeah.
So you have to think about this. I'm just a girl that was trying to pay back my student loans. I wasn't involved in politics. I didn't really know what being a liberal meant, what being conservative meant. I think at the end of the day, I was always a conservative. I'm pretty rational. I'm very fact-based. In terms of, I will always value, like, you know, economics above like social issues and that sort of thing, as I understand that that should take a back seat, obviously. You don't want to become a third world country, you know. You know,
while screaming about pronouns.
Exactly. So I think I was always a conservative, or more conservative in that regard. But I started really deeply considering politics, my positions on everything, because of that experience.
Yeah.
She's always been a conservative, except
I took the most liberal route to conservatism. Took a very liberal route to conservatism. And I just, you know, I was constantly in trouble. I was always a very smart person. You know, I did well in school. But there was an upset. I felt like the world owed me something because so much of my life seemed unfair. Like the parents that I had, it was unfair. The money that I didn't have, that was unfair. I had an education system that was telling me it was because the world is fundamentally unfair. And the system of, you know, capitalism in America and white Republicans is making it unfair. And I just had a chip on my shoulder through much of my life. And, you know, I found liberalism to be a home for that, because a liberal perspective sort of welcomes the idea that we shouldn't have to be responsible because the world is just corrupt and backwards. So why should we have to be decent people? It sort of allows you to absolve all responsibility, all self-responsibility. And I wasn't like, you know, I was, you know, partying, but not more than anybody else was. I was a bad person. I don't know how to say it. I just was a really bad person, a person that I'm not proud of. And I didn't treat people well. I wasn't true to my word. And I was mean. And that meanness came from an anger, a deep-seated anger.
So, but she just said she wasn't really a conservative. I mean, a liberal. Candace, I'm telling y'all, everything that Candace does has been in front of us. We just didn't look. We have to do a better job of vetting people. Does that mean gatekeeping? Does that mean smaller tent? Yes, because this is what happens when we don't do it. Oh, they say the right thing. We got to let them in. Well, look at what happens. Look what we did. We let the Trojan horse in. I don't think she even was a Trojan horse. I think we just let a sheer, unadulterated, unconverted, wicked liberal into the camp, and look what happened. Like, now we understand why in the scriptures it asks us to isolate people who have leprosy for good reason. Look at what happens when you let a leprous person in amongst people. Like, for real. This is some crazy work, man. This is some crazy work. I saw that and I'm like, wow, she told us. She has told us before, and now we have to deal with this. We have to. So shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much. What do you say, Mo? Thank you so much for the 30. Don't quote me on this. I think this is don't be giving me no shekels now, Mocha. Don't be giving me no shekels, because you know people gonna get in their feelings. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for it. Willie Doc, my brother, said this. Tide swore that's crazy work fun. Appreciate the godly examination of Candace's tactics and moves. Thank you so much, brother. I really, really do appreciate you. Thank you, friend. Thank you so much. Deb over here with the 5. Also, Jason, question in the chat. 4 kids in was it 5 years? And did she have twins? No, she didn't have twins. I'm not saying that Candace did not have kids, because I did that video before. I find it highly suspicious, and I'll explain why in a second. Much love, Jason, in the chat. Okay, I am not saying, I know y'all saw the video with me and Miki and Will Adson. I'm not saying that Candace didn't have kids, and I don't think that the Adsons were saying she didn't have kids. I think how she went about having kids is strange. I do know that there was a video where she was in fact pregnant. Don't quote me, but I think she was even doing like a turning point Q&A where she told the person, you know, get a helmet. I'm too pregnant for you to be asking these questions, right? So I do believe she had that child. I'm not saying that she didn't. What I'm proposing, and a lot of people bring it up, like her maternal instincts have not kicked in. Like when my wife became a mother, the woman I knew prior to her becoming pregnant to now is a different person. Her maternal instinct is different. And Candace doesn't demonstrate that even in just the typical things that you would expect a mother to do. Like, you don't talk about other people's kids, or you're empathetic to women who have children, whether they're terrors or not. Like, you still are empathetic to a degree because you recognize being a parent is tough. Candace doesn't demonstrate that. And that's more of what we were trying to convey. So we weren't trying to say that she didn't really have kids. Somebody was saying that she didn't really have kids. No, I believe she had the kids. I think they were back to back to back to back. They're almost stair step, if you will. I'm sure you can have the discussion about the hormonal upheavals, and that's not my point. My point is just that she doesn't seem to act like a mom. That's all. Shout out. So thank y'all so much. Mike, thank you so much, man, for the 20. Man, stream sponsor up in the building. Today, you cannot be conservative and hold any liberal values. But as a liberal, you 100% hold some conservative values. That's true. The liberal overloads fence-sitting conservative spaces like Candace Owens and sows doubt and division to win the middle. I don't disagree with that at all. That's an excellent take on that. Thank you so much for that, friend. Appreciate it. And thank you so much for the very kind 20. You'll be the stream sponsor. Maria is a brand new member up in here. Shout out to her. Grace and peace to you. And then what do we have here? Thank you so much, Mary, with the super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. All right. So the point of this morning was just to show you all that, to give you some tools in your tool belt of having a discussion about Candace and her liberalism, her conservatism. I think at this point it's true. She's truly gone. She's really stopped cosplaying. I think it's fair to say that. So now we can say, how did we get here? How did we allow this to happen? I think is what we need to be doing. And I think having that conversation would be very helpful for us on this side of the argument, on this side of the discussion, to say, hey, how did we get here? What happened to our discernment? What happened to our understanding that we allowed somebody to come in that clearly doesn't hold and represent our values? And when we look back, she never did. Why did we allow this to happen? Oh, because she said the right thing about BLM, or she said the right thing about Hillary or Kamala or Joe Biden. Okay, that's why. So we can't let that be we do need to check, do a little bit more deeper dive. We do need to do a little bit more under the hood work besides just running with this and saying, oh, this is good to go. I'm sorry. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. What do we have here? Yes, I've seen this before. Yes, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Look beyond platitudes and bumper sticker slogans. There we go. I like that one. I might have to run off with that one. Shout out for sure. And I also do think it's interesting that in the Dave Rubin conversation, because again, Dave Rubin is not somebody that you would look at and say, oh, I need to hold up the family. I need to make much of family as relates to that. Nah, let me just go ahead and talk about the politics. Dave Rubin will resonate with the politics. But then when I go over here to Glenn Beck, because he's really big on family, I don't know, Glenn Beck has a big family too, I think, right? So let me talk about my grandmom and my granddad and how that happened and so on and so forth. I think she talks about her family structure, mom and dad, and so on and so forth. She didn't do that with Dave Rubin. And if grandma was that pivotal, I think that would have come into play. Just my little 2 cents. Can't get you that crazy word. I like it. She code switches. I don't know. Code switching by default. And y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. Please forgive me. Code switching has always been to me and a saying that you use a certain vernacular when you're with a certain group of people, but you switch that vernacular when you're with a different group of people. And we all do it. So it's not just germane to the Black community. White people do it. Everybody has a code switch situation. If nothing more, you code switch with your family. If you go to your family reunion, your communication and the way you behave is going to be totally different than whether you were in the boardroom with the CEOs literally 3 hours ago. I get you out there at the park with your family T-shirt on, and you see your great grand cousins and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna switch. It doesn't matter. That's a switch. So to me, that's what code switching is. She's story switching. Like that's a whole nother game. Like that's a whole nother situation, in my opinion. It's advanced level code switching. She just tells a story different. She's telling different stories. I don't know if that would be code switching though. What y'all think? She's like a chameleon. Yeah, I don't know if that would. I totally get it. And if we had to land in somewhere and we say it was code switching, I'll let you have it. But to me, code switching is never meant to obfuscate or change something. I'm not code switching by running over and grabbing a different hat and putting it on my head and pretend like I'm not Jason. Like that would be being dishonest. But if I go grab another hat and I say, I'm just put on another hat, that to me is not being, it might be hat switching, but it's not being dishonest. But if I grab another hat or do this and pretend like I'm not Jason, yeah, my name is Bob. Like, wait, what in the world? Dude, we just watched you, man. What are you talking about? No, I'm Bob. Jason just left. Jason went to go get some coffee. And then, hey, by the way, everybody, I'm back. Like that to me is code. That's what she does. That's a whole different game. It's not just a vernacular change, but a whole personality upheaval. There, put that hat on my head, right? Who changed my hat? So but I got your point. Man, Carrie, thank you so much. What did Carrie say? Thank you so much for doing the Lord's work. We need to show support and pray for every godly man that's fighting the good fight. This is a spiritual battle. God bless you and keep you safe, Jason. Well, thank you so much, Carrie. I appreciate it. And the very kind $20 super. Thank you. I can make you out of co-sponsors of the show, by the way. I need to do that. So I hope that made sense, everybody. I wanted to jump on this morning and kind of point out and look at Candace's trajectory. I don't even know if we can say because it's definitely not a through line from one part to another. Most of you have some kind of similar situation. Maybe you were liberal, maybe you were a libertarian. Myself, I was a libertarian, and you came to understand something about it. And there's like a through line. You can usually say, hey, I can see when I made steps in this direction. But the way she tells a story, I think and also the fruit of her story. There's the other aspect to it. I can say let me pull up, and I'm only going to pick on him because I know him. So he's a friend of mine. So shout out to Willie Doc. Where is that guy? Shout out to the Willie Doc up in the building. So shout out to Willie Doc. I know Willie Doc. We went to college together. He's come to my church. I've met his family. He's met my family. I feel comfortable about this. So I've broken bread with Willie Doc. And if he said that he used to be a liberal and now he's a conservative, and I say, okay, I can see the fruit of that because I've talked to his family. I can see the fruit of that because we've had dialogue and discussion on the phone. So if he popped up tomorrow and said he was a liberal, I would have to be like, well, bruh, you showed me a lot of proof and evidence of your transformation to becoming a conservative or holding conservative principles, even more than that, Christian principles. How did you get here? Like I've seen the transformation. I've seen the trajectory in his life. So therefore, wait, and the fruit is still there. The fruit is still fruiting. You know what I'm saying? He's still growing good fruit in his life. What happened to Candace? What happened to Candace? Tell me what happened to Candace. She blamed her. Wait, she did? TJ, she blamed her pregnancy on her behavior. I hear a lot of people saying that. But she blamed her, or are you talking about the time she told somebody that get a helmet. I don't have time for dumb questions because I'm too pregnant. And again, like I just don't see maternal qualities that make me say, oh, that's a mom. And I'm not trying to be like crass about it, but I think you all get the imagery I'm trying to point out. He just doesn't seem maternal, doesn't seem like a mom. Shout out to Mike, man. Thank you so much. He says this another point with her children, and I hate this idea for her children, is that a lot of kids in a short time is a conservative action, maybe just another tactic to get to conservative space. You know, I can kind of see that. I can kind of see that. I would hate to think that she did that, but I can see what you're talking about. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I guess I'm just kind of like, dang, man, that's kind of low down. Like you had kids as a plot device. Like that's low down. But I think you're probably more right than false. Shout out, man. That was a good one. Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. Candace gets repeatedly caught in lies, and even when presented with the video evidence, she still claims she didn't say whatever the lie was. That's some crazy work, and you're right. I mean, big conservative guy. Thank you so much. You're right on the money, man. That's crazy. It's almost comical that she does it. Like I didn't say that. Like I promise you, some Cantifa member is going to tell me that video didn't happen. The Dave Rubin video, the Glenn Beck video, and I've downloaded them, so I have the copy of them. They're going to tell me that it didn't happen, and I'm going to be like, but I literally have the copy of the video. It didn't happen. She didn't say that. What are you talking about? We're watching it. We just watched it. I guarantee you're right, because they will do it, and she will go right along with it. Jasmine Crockett code switches. That is correct. Now that is 100% correct. Yes, what had Erica lied about? Another one. Other than the fact that we are all sinners and have lied at some point. My argument with the whole Erica lied pushback is, where did Erica say it? Show me where she said it. Not because a lot of people have translated Candace saying that Erica lied as Erica lied. There is a difference. Deja Green, thank you so much for that comment. There is a difference. If I ask Deja Green, does she drive a purple Honda? Deja Green has not replied to my comment about driving a purple Honda. I believe Deja actually doesn't drive a purple Honda. She has a silver Lexus. Deja has been lying about the purple Honda all this time. See, I've concocted the story and Deja ain't said a thing. Deja has not said one solitary word. And a lot of these smooth brain Cantifa supporters, they've been sitting there letting Candace concoct a story just like I did about the purple Honda. And the person's never said anything. Oh, see, Deja lied about the purple Honda. And I really hope that you don't own a purple Honda, because that would be crazy. But, oh, Deja lied about the purple Honda. Like, the woman never said anything. You do realize that Deja's never said anything, right? She ain't said, I'm just checking, make sure you didn't say, yeah, I do own a purple Honda. Because again, that would be crazy work. Before Christ. Absolutely. I'm just double checking. Make sure, please tell me you don't drive a purple Honda. That's all I need. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I need, Deja, is that you just don't drive a purple Honda. That's all I need. That's it. Okay, tell me what she lied about. Sheila, tell me what she lied about. Just, I mean, what is it that she lied? Erica lied. Okay, here we go. Here, I'm going to drop the link for you. Sheila Jones. Tell me what she lied about. I'm dropping the link for you. So all you got to do is just hit the link. That's all you got to do. Sheila Jones. That's all in person I want to talk to you. All I ask is that you have your camera on, that we use no profanity, and that we stay on topic. I want to know, what did she lie about? Yeah, I mean, hop on. Just here's the link right here. All I got to do is click on. Oh, good. Deja does not own a purple Honda. There we go. Good deal. I had a blue one at one time when my big girl first was born. It's a little hatchback. And it wasn't, the reason I brought that up, it was like a royal blue, but it wasn't purple. It just had it. I mean, the sun hit it right. It looked purple. Yeah. I'm actually waiting. Sheila, if you could tell me what it was that Erica lied about. It does hurt others by Erica lying, calling herself a Christian and lying in a time like this. Are you kidding me? All these multiple question marks. I love it. Yeah, we're actually waiting for you. I really want you to hit that link. Oh, she was timed out. Okay. But she can still hit the link though. She can get to the front of the line. Look, unlike the border, we let illegal immigrants get up to the front of the line and they get that work early. So hit the link. What does Doc say? Good morning, Doc. Thank you so much for the 10. He says this Candace is a strategic con artist, liberal during one phase of her life, conservative the next. Now circling back. I agree. It's situational whenever it takes to feed her appetite for clicks and cash. I will only say this. I think she was cosplaying as a conservative. I don't think she ever really was conservative. I don't think. And who's Shelly? Shelly wants to come and set me straight. That's fine too. I got time. I got time today. As Tanash Peter says, I got time today. And I'm gonna drop. Thank you so much again for that, Doc. I appreciate you, brother. Here, I'm gonna put this. I'll put the link again, man, just in case y'all miss it. Don't need to pin it to the top. There's the link. Yeah, all you gotta do is just click the link, and then you can set me straight. Even if you've been what you call it, even if you've been timed out, you can hit the link. That don't be afraid of that. I'm gonna pin that to the top. And again, that's only for her. I do ask that your camera be on. Thank you so very much. Yeah, and I pinned that to the top, so you can just hit Timothy on the email. Jason, question. Jason, the question needs to be answered. Did Erica ever meet Candace? And did Erica ever tell Charlie, please don't let her back in TPUSA? Black Sigma, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the 5. I don't know that emphatically, but if you follow the trajectory of when they met, and I think shout out to wives. Wives are very helpful. I think as God said, it is not good for man to be alone. And so there have been people that my wife has said she doesn't like. She doesn't have to tell me why. She doesn't have to give me a long story about it. If she says, I don't like that person around us, that's it. I'm good with that. I'm perfectly fine. Especially if the person is a female. My wife, if she says no, that person don't need to come around our family. Okay, holla. There you go. So I personally believe Erica Kurt realized maybe before Charlie did, or maybe Charlie was starting to open up his eyes, that Candace is not the person that she projects herself out to be. And she said, Charlie, we need to stop having her come around us. And that's where the wheels on the bus came off. Because I'm going to go on a limb. I bet you there's a text message conversation between Erica and Charlie to that effect. I don't know it. There's no way that I'll verify it. I just think that I bet you she did say, let's go ahead and wrap that up. Now you add to it all of the other shenanigans about Candace and such like that, and it was only just a matter of time. But I think that's what happened. That's just me. I have no way of verifying it. But, shout out to Obi-Wan the homie. My man is in Alaska. He out there in Alaska. I love when I meet people from other places because Alaska just seems so foreign to me. I just have this, 1980s Saturday morning cartoon vision of Alaska, but it's not like that. Alaska is a pretty interesting place, diverse, all that kind of stuff like that. It is such an interesting. Shout out to Obi-Wan the homie. I'm sorry, I just love that name right there is cooking. I don't know where you got that from, but I'm glad you better hold on to that one because that one I would steal that one. That is hilarious. It's kind of like when I found out that Las Vegas had a school district. I never thought that. I was every bit of like 25 years old. I met somebody from Las Vegas, and I was like, because I was a teacher at that point, or going to become a teacher, and we were talking about, wait, Las Vegas has a school? I never thought of it. I just never thought of that. And so shout out. And I just think that is hilarious, man. So shout out to people in just weird, not weird places. I don't want to say weird. I'm sorry. In places that you have like a picture of, like Las Vegas. You have a picture of just the strip and you don't think about that. Or Alaska. You just think about it being cold, but Alaska apparently is really nice and they have an excellent, diverse ecosystem, but all we kind of think about is just snow. So shout out to Alaska. What's going on? She said, I'm late to the live, but glad I made it. Well, we're glad you made it as well. Jessica. Yeah, it's Jessica. Shout out to you for sure. Well, yeah, now look, we didn't, I'm not speaking on the veracity of the education system in Vegas by no means a measure. I'm just saying I never thought about that. All I think about is like, Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12, the Strip, all that kind of stuff, but never thought about there are people that live in Las Vegas. That was an eye-opening day. Like, wait, there are people? What do you mean? And that's all. That was it. Rise Up coming up in here said this. I saw a video last night of Charlie in a plane watching an UAP. He didn't act like the time traveler or the light started flickering in his presence. He asked a million questions like a normal person. Charlie was a normal person. I think, sadly, thank you so much for the very kind 10. This is the thing. I really want people to stop taking Candace at face value. Stop it. Get some help. Stop. You don't have to take her at face value. If she says something, ask her for the receipts, ask her for proof, ask her for evidence. This whole thing about lights flickering and him saying he's a time traveler. How many of us have said something weird in a text message that if somebody else read it, if I read it out loud today, we'd all be scratching our heads. Like, why do we just give Candace the duck and cover and act like what she's saying that there's not a context to it? Right? Because I could say that I'm, a special type of person because this light behind me flickers. I cannot believe that the light flickers. So I can say, hey, every time I come in the office, the light flickers. Ooh, like, stop it. It's just silly. Like, just stop. I think we need to stop giving. Well, and that is a good point. Erica did talk about that in an interview a few days prior, and then Candace got out there and said it. But if you go back and look at it and want to say, I know, friend, I'm sorry. I'm not. Oh, please don't think I'm upset or fussing at you. I got the sarcasm. I'm sorry, friend. Thank you for the 2 as well. I was only pointing out to a lot of people. There's a lot of people that take Candace at face value and don't do any homework check. That's what. I don't like that, man. It bothers because it's my presence. It's me because I'm a time traveler from another dimension. I don't know what to do about that. What do you say? Carrie says this. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this Lord's work. And you just said this, and I appreciate it again. I read this already. Thank you. It did not scroll up. Sorry about that. Here it goes. Thank you, Bronx Girl, with a 20. One of the things that really bothers is seeing people repeat Christ is king. Let me talk about that. Thank you so much. While hating Jews and talking and taking part in Candace hate, thou shalt not take the Lord's name, your God, in vain. Let me tell you this. Everybody in the best live chat, in the most electrifying comment section, if you did not like that whole Christ is king debacle, you have been vindicated. You have been justified. You have been proven to be correct. Well, Jason, how is that? Look at the people who were making the most noise about quote unquote Christ is king. Look at their behavior, examine the fruit of their lives. You have been vindicated. You have been justified. I knew it. I told y'all saying Christ is king is irrelevant if Christ is not your king. Your confession is completely null and void if your possession is not real. And I've said that. And they have proven themselves in 4K. That and I told y'all that. That's why I didn't get down when Kanye did that album and everybody was losing their mind. Oh, no, just give him. I kept saying, give him 5 years. Because if he's a Christian, if he's really converted in 60 months, he'll be more evident. There'll be more fruit. If Candace was a Christian, if you give her 5 years, there'll be more evident. There'll be more fruit. Give her 5 years. And y'all, every one of y'all who did not rock with that, y'all have been vindicated. I'm trying to tell you. It was somebody just said it. It was just a slogan. Right. It was just a slogan. And hate to say it, it was a slogan to antagonize another people group. Because everybody who is running around here, Christ is king, Christ is king. There also happen to be the ones that are hating on Jews right now. In 4K, mask off. That's interesting. That's so odd. Because none of the people that were saying Christ is king have gotten more robust in their biblical theological positions. Not one person who was running around here, Christ is king, on hats and shirts and in their email signatures has become more reformed in their theology. Not a one, but every last one of them has become more and more reprobate. I told y'all. I told y'all. I was not even worried. I knew it was coming. And guess what? Not a one of them. And none of them is Christ their king. Shout out to Black Sigma says this with it too. Nick Fuentes and Sneeko say Christ is king. Sneeko is a professed Muslim. What is Christ the king of? You banging your head on the floor 5 times a day? Because it's showing what is he the king of? I'll wait. Okay, looking through here. Christ is king from these people is like being punched in the face while somebody says, I love you. Or as we here in the South like to say, bless your heart. I mean, Christ is king is the bless your heart of when we don't mean that sometimes. When we say bless your heart, we're saying something bad about you. That's it. But none of them can tell me that they've been converted though, either. That's the problem. Like you ain't been converted. I love the conversation back and forth. I really do appreciate it. And as Katie said right here, actions speak louder than words. So everybody that was vilified. You're not. Now look at them. Look at every last one of them. Every last one of them. Speaking of every last one of them, is President Firstborn. Hold on one second, everybody. All right. Bada boom, bada bing. Hold on. Bang. All right, I'm back. All right, I try not to send my kid to voicemail. I try not to. So when my people call, I try my best to answer the phone. What is this? What do you mean white podcast? What does that mean? I don't get that. Is there something I'm missing? Say that maybe we'll come back and explain what you're talking about there. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much, everybody. Y'all really out here defending Erica Kirk. Candace not the only person pointing out the lies. Here, I'm dropping that link in the chat. The link, the video link is right there at the top. Y'all can just click on the link, and all I ask is that your camera is on and that you don't use any profanity and you stay on topic. We can talk about it right now. I mean, that'd be dope. Wouldn't that be dope, man? WMD to 2003 to get that clarified. We can talk about it. Maybe you break some knowledge to me. The link is right there. All you gotta do is click on the link and you're right here in the chat. You're right here. You brought up current. I love it, man. Good people jumping in the chat, and I appreciate y'all. But yeah, stay in the box. Y'all wilding out. I want to hear. Like, again, I think it would be dope to. So yeah, WMD. Weapons of mass distraction. I think that'd be dope, man. I want to hear what you guys say. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. I try to be very kind to people. So of course I'll just ask that your camera's on and that you use no profanity, and we can talk it out. We can chop it up. That'd be great conversation this morning. I think it'd be very edifying. Where's your outrage over Cantifa? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just think that's interesting. So I'm keep it out there for sure, man. It's just odd, like when you give them an opportunity to chat it up, that way you can at least save, thumb power. We can just talk about it. Why not just talk about it? But it is what it is. Thank y'all so much, everybody who tapped in on today. I appreciate y'all. I'm not coming on the live. And now I'm being called a fool in the chat. I'm not going to call you a fool. I'm just, the chat is going to do what the chat's going to do. And that's fine. But you and I can talk, because you just said that I was defending a liar. So why don't we just clarify that? And maybe I am. Maybe I'm doing something totally wrong. Maybe I'm just outright wrong. You can call my pastor and tell him, hey, Deacon Whitaker is, propping up a lie. But I mean, I would love to hear it from you rather than just, again, trying to read it when the chat is going live. And the chat is very amicable. So, let's chop it up. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the 5 people using God's name to attack the Jewish people are using God's name in vain. You're absolutely right. We don't need the devil to confirm him. We know who our Father is. Shout out. Thank you so much. Love from Australia. We can hollering at us from Australia. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. So, but back to the point here. I mean, okay, fine. People say things about me, but I'm giving you an opportunity to talk to me because you said that I'm defending a liar. So, this would be your chance to say, hey, Jason, here's the example of her lying. And I say, I guess you're right. And hey, you got me dead to rights. But I mean, I think that would probably be the best way to do it. Then that way everybody can learn, because people can say, oh, I too have been supporting a lie. Oh, there it is. That's the best way to go about it. And I'm not going to call you any names. And the chat's going to do what the chat's going to do. For the most part, they're very amicable and supportive. So now I think what probably needs to be said, though, I think what probably needs to be said is that the idea that you would come on and actually be challenged in your thoughts or challenged in your position, therein is the rub. You don't want that to happen, because in 4K, you would be on this camera on the Lord's internet, and you would have your positions challenged and questioned. And that's not what you want. You want to remain in a position where you can just say something and nobody is going to push back. Nobody's going to ask you to clarify. Nobody's going to ask you for proof. Nobody's going to ask you to give evidence. See, that's what you like to do. Now, if that's the case, then you should just go ahead and say that. Like, oh, I don't really want to be challenged in my ideas. I don't want to be in a position where I'm actually being pushed back on and made stronger, because maybe your case would be strong. But see, you don't want that. And so I think since you don't, then that's probably why you haven't hit the link yet. You hit Timothy on the email, he gets you all the details. So that's what I think. And I could be wrong. I could be 1,000% wrong. But I really believe that you don't actually want to get challenged in your thoughts or challenged in the ideas that you're positioning out there. And that's probably more safe than not what the issue is, because otherwise you would have just if you had evidence that Candace told the truth here and I lied about Candace there and you knew it, you would have already hit the link 20 minutes ago. But you haven't. I wonder why. All right, shut up. It's been a long morning, Stargaze. How are you? It's been a little morning. We've been over here talking it up, chopping it up. No, I am not camera ready. I'm laying in bed in the morning. Oh, well, hey, you need to get that rest. Get that rest. Get the rest. But I'm glad that you woke up with me this morning. Hey, look, shout out for sure. Y'all put WMD in the chat. Shout out to WMD. You know what? Before you even get up out of the Lord's bed and go make your coffee, you at least spend time with your boy. I appreciate that. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Thank you so much. Y'all put WMD in the chat. Oh, man. I got to wake up with Jay Witt. Well, I like it. I might name the show like WMD. Wake up, my dude. There we go. Wake up, my dude. That's what we're going to do. WMD will be Wake Up, My Dude. That's going to be the name of the show. Shout out to WMD. Well, okay, even though you're in the bed, and I don't like going back and forth, I would much rather talk, but that's okay. Do you actually have a position that you would say, WMD, as y'all flood the chat with, WMD. WMD, do you actually have a position that you would argue? I just want to know. Because maybe you'll say, hey, I do have a position I argue, and maybe we'll have you come back another day. You hit me up on the email, I'll get you all the details. So do you actually have a position that you would argue, or you just wanted to say that I'm a liar? That's what I'm wondering. I'm just worried. I'm just concerned about that right there. I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair. In my opinion, I think that's fair. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Shout out to WMD. Wake up, my dude. I like it. I'm praying that they do, though. I want a position. I want an argument. I want a position. There we go. What's going on, mental chiropractor in the building? Good morning to you, friend. This is a great point. Shout out to you, Rise Up. Says this: Candace has been given irrefutable proof of Erica's whereabouts on the 8th and 10th and more. Why hasn't she shared that question? She's not interested in truth. Plus, would stop the money flow. Well, I think to be honest with you, I think Candace has already pivoted off of Erica, and she's trying to use the Iran conflict and war to be her reasoning for it, because she realized that she was not getting anywhere. That's what I really believe happened. But to the point that you're making, that's why she doesn't share those type of factoids. Is everything is being shared that continues her position, nothing to derail it, nothing to show any kind of adjustment or anything of that nature. Shout out to Melinda. She done blessed 5 people with memberships. If you got a membership from Melinda, make sure you tell her thank you. Thank you now. The bees told her to pivot. Y'all are wild. Y'all are absolutely wild. But that's true, though. I mean, the bees probably more than likely did say, hey, you need to buzz on over here. You need to move on over. So, this is a very interesting point. And I have to admit, I've watched more Candace content than a lot of people. It's well more than the FDA recommends, right? And what does he say right here? Crazy how the Iran war saved her show. She probably is like, oh, thank God. Okay, I've watched Candace for a while. I really think that Candace has, and this is from a person who has it. So I'm not just saying this out of spite or anything like that. I think she has a high level of ADHD. If you follow her, it is extremely clear she can't stay on a topic for a long period of time. She can't. She has to move off of it. So she wouldn't be able to be a long-term researcher over, doing long-term studies that take years to complete, because she can't stay focused on it. And I think a great example is look at her work history. Every 19 to 24 months, she's on another job. She's on another job. The only thing is now her being that she's the only job, she is her job. That's the only reason she stays on that. But if you look at her studies, if you look at like what happened to the Macrones, remember the Macrones, that was everything. And she was getting into the long tail of that Macron case. Everybody was like, what the heck are you talking about? And sadly, Charlie Kirk died. And she jumped on that thing quick. And she's been riding that. But now, okay, we already passed that. Well, you haven't given us anything new. So what is she doing? She went after Erica. She thought she could get a little bit more out of that. And the funny fact is, her pivoting to Iran just so happened to be around the same time as information has come out from the trial of Tyler Robinson that's really starting to derail and punch holes in a lot of her other argumentation. The bullet. Everybody now knows that bullet was more than likely shot by a 30-06. So the exploding microphone, the drone, the Ninja Turtles, all of that stuff has gone out the window. The palm gun, the camera gun, all that stuff's gone out the window because people now know, like, yeah, this was the bullet from a 30-06 small game bullet. So it's just odd. So the way that she moves like somebody who has ADHD. And I'm saying that as somebody who has ADHD. But I like that comment. Thank you so much. And by the way, the Macron case on April 23rd, we are going to get the next round on the Macron case of where they're going to be going with that. So we haven't forgot about it. It's just Candace filed for it to be dismissed. The judge has to determine whether it'll be dismissed, and then from there they'll start voir dire or selecting jurors. So I'm not jurors. I'm evidentiary hearings. Did WMD ever say that they actually had something that they wanted to like an example of the lie? I'm just looking here in the chat. I don't see it. And I hate when that happens. Oh, wait. No, two things can be true. I believe Candace can be a hustler, and I've seen some things in Erica that I question. Well, hold on now, WMD. You said that she was a liar. Being wrong about something is different than saying that somebody lied. There's a big difference. One is a mistake of ignorance. One is a mistake. The other one is intentionally misleading. So you can't just say, Oh, well, I was just saying that she got some things I got to question. No. You said that she lied, and you said that we are over here propping up people that lie. You have to correct that. If that's your position, WMD, then you do have to make that case that what she did was lie, and I'm dare even say intentionally. So you can't just say it's a mistake. Right. Yeah, you feeling me, Melinda. We got to work on that. We got to stay on task. Now hear me. It might be the 28th. I said, what I say, 23rd? It's very possible it's the 28th. So don't hold me. That would be my mistake. Not that I was lying. Okay, what do you have here? Stop calling everyone that doesn't agree with you a devil or a demon. Diminishes your point. Real quick, how many times do you hear me call somebody a devil or a demon? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, technically, following this logic, then that you lied on me. I don't call people a devil or a demon. I say that they're demonic, absolutely. I say that they're evil, no question. And even in that, you don't hear me say it that much. So who is saying that? I'm asking you a very serious question. WMD, who says that? Excellent question right here. It makes you wonder. Candace waited to attack Erica and TPUSA after Charlie's death, but never once did she while he was still alive. I mean, that's a great point. Watch this. She didn't attack Ben Shapiro until after the fact either. But allegedly, Ben Shapiro was a terrible, low-down, good-for-nothing person, but she still wouldn't work for him. Just something to think about. Candace stands for truth, this person said. Okay, shout out. There you go. Hey, now, RBW88K, you probably a bot too, but at the top of the live chat is the link. You can click the link and you can come on and we can talk about it. Y'all starting to be like liberals. Everything is racist. Everyone can't be a demon just because you don't agree. Okay. Who is saying this stuff? Who is saying these things that you're arguing? That's all I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I mean, I got them all bothered today. That's fine. I got you bothered. Don't you worry about it. Why don't you come in? See, you're arguing with the chat, and I want to talk to you. That's the funny thing. Like, let's just say that the chat isn't here. The chat has gone away. Why are you not clicking the link and you and I can talk? You busy arguing with the chat, then the chat gonna do what the chat's gonna do. Again, they're still super tame. They're super respectful. But why don't you just click the link and me and you can talk? I'm not going to call you a demon. I'm not going to say that you're unregenerate. I'm going to ask you some questions. But see, you busy arguing with the chat. You want to argue with the chat. You don't want to talk to me. That's the problem. Because the link is still there at the top. So you could, at any moment, click the link. We could have been having this conversation. You don't sound like you believe in anything you're saying. Who compromised you? Okay. All right. I guess, whatever. I done left the link up there, so I don't understand why we having a conversation in the chat when you can hit the link and you can tell me where I sound like I don't sound convicted. I would love to hear you explain that to me. Okay, but I want to talk to you, WMD. I don't think you're hearing me. Maybe I'm not saying this clear enough. I want to talk to you. I want you to hit the button because you could have, at this point, you could have easily just went and put on a baseball cap, put a little bit of water on your face, wash your face a little bit, and we could have been having a conversation 25, 30 minutes ago. But I think it's fair to say that I realize you don't actually have an argument. You don't actually have a position that you are going to, that you want to espouse, if you will. So I am going to tell you this, WMD. I'm going to put my email in the chat again. And you are welcome. You are welcome to hit me on the email. I'll get you all the details. You are welcome to come on. We can chop it up. And we'll make that happen. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my emails in the chat. At this moment, and the link is going to stay at the top, by the way. I don't think that you're going to click on the link, but the link is at the top. You are welcome, WMD, to hit that link and come on in here, and we can make it make sense, make it do what it do, as Ray Charles said. But I've actually just go ahead and told the moderators, since you're in the chat, you're arguing in the chat is giving you the same energy back, and you don't like the energy that they're giving. So maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be in the chat. Okay, because you're not actually trying to move this game forward. So, all right. So we already know how that's going to work out. Man, what's Mike say here? Thank you so much for the 5. Says it seems like Candace Owens has entered the chat this morning. So this is for her. Jason, you are over the top, over the target. Obscure YouTuber number 2. Candace is clearly indefensible scum. Look, man, I am honored to be a obscure YouTuber. I'm glad. Look, she's a joy, man. She's a joy because she brings out so many good opportunities. I do want you have to be on camera, yes. But why don't you just go and hit the button? You ain't got to be like beautiful, but you have things to say. You have a position that I think would be much more advantageous to have the discussion. Look, there I go. I'll go. Look, there we go. If you want to make you feel good, there we go. I got the lights dark. Turn the lights down low. That's all I'm saying. But you have a position that would be best talked out, rather than going back and forth in the email. I mean, in the chat. Like, I don't understand what we're missing. Here's my email, by the way. I mean, again, the chat would much rather you come on and make your position than saying that people are calling you demons. And so who cares? There have been people in the chat saying things about me. And let me tell you, I can tell you some stuff about me. If you shoot me with the email, I'll give you all the details. I'll tell you how terrible my spelling grade was in 3rd grade. Absolutely. I'll see some good people in the chat. Thank you so much. We love our obscure YouTuber. Well, thank you so much, Deja. I appreciate you. What is it? Deja vu. I got you. I see what you did there. I like that. Yeah, at this point, though, for real, so that we don't, we got to do a vibe check, so to speak. Yeah, if you don't want to, then just go ahead. It's all good. WMD, we gonna be just fine over here without you. I mean, I hate it because you're welcome to be here. I mean, Cantifa members always get premium seating at the church. They get the front row seats, all that kind of good jazz. They get premium parking in the church parking lot. And I even think they get extra donuts at the fellowship hour. So we try our best to be respectful over here. Sure. And it's just my observation. Yeah. Thank you so much. And empty vessels make the most noise. Man, Emmett has been a member for 22 months. My gosh. I mean, we're like best friends at this point. No one called you anything. We are assessing your character. What? Y'all, hold on. We got a guest. We got a guest.
Oh, I gotta cut this now.
Yeah, turn the light on, my brother. Turn the light on. The building, y'all. What we got going on? We done got WMD blessing us with his presence. Thank you so much. Got the J, smoking the J in the bed. What the devil going on?
No, that's a cigarette.
Okay, that's what we doing. All right.
I'm hearing something. I don't know what's going on.
What you mean?
I got a lot of I'm hearing double right now. What do I do? I don't come on live.
Yeah, that's okay. You got headphones?
Yeah.
Okay, so then your audio source should be those headphones, not the speaker on your phone or the speaker on your computer. I think he might have hit the I think he hit the button. Hit the wrong button. Okay, well, WMD is getting himself together. Yeah, I just want to make sure, hey, I let y'all see how ugly I am every morning, so y'all could do the same. Let's go. But hopefully he'll come back on. Let's see. Let's give him a second. Let's give him a second. I would like to hear what he has to say, and we'll go from there. I like it. I like it. I am going to. All right, we got him back. We got him back. All right, WMD in the building.
I still got the same problem.
All right. Are you on a phone or on a computer?
Yeah, I'm on my phone with my headphones on, and I'm getting a lot of feedback. Like it's a delay.
Mm-hmm. Are you? So on the bottom of the screen is a mute mic button. If you click that, what happens? Okay, so you muted the mic. Do you hear the double now? Unmuted to answer the question.
No, I don't
Okay.
hear when I.
Okay. So what I think is happening, and do you still hear double now at this moment while I'm talking to you right now?
Yes.
Okay. I think some reason or other your microphone that you are using, your phone microphone, is in your headphones as well as your phone. And you have to switch that from just to collect from your headphones or from your phone, but is picking it up twice. And do you happen to have YouTube open on your phone?
Yeah. Let's see now. I just did something. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I think you still have the YouTube app open and you have the StreamYard open. So there's two streams with two audios.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
All right. So now I'm talking. Do you hear double now?
No. Okay. Thank you.
There you go. Not a problem. WMD is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. All right. WMD. Talk to me, sir. What we got?
Sir. The only thing that I'm pointing out that I do believe was a lie is when Erica said that Charlie didn't text anyone about fearing for his life the night before or whatever. That was a proven lie, y'all. That's a lie. Gotcha. It turned out to be a lie. That's it.
Okay. So And so
I'm not saying Candace is, Jesus herself, or, no, everybody can be at fault. So I'm not taking up for anyone in the chat. Everybody went, "Oh, you're a Candace bot." No, I just
that's okay.
heard some information and like, oh, okay, that's weird.
I got you. Can I ask you a couple questions about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At the current moment, you're on your phone, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but are you married? Do you have kids or whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You communicate with your family probably using your phone. Is that fair?
Right.
You probably text message them and whatnot like that. Now, do you use social media like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter and stuff like that?
Now, you seen all the trouble I just had getting on here. No, okay. I'm not a social media bot.
No problem. No problem. But it's fair to say that you have children. You have children?
Yes.
Okay. Have they ever sent you something from one of those other social medias like, "Hey, Dad, look at this funny video," or "Dad, this X post reminds me of you"? Have they ever done that?
All the time.
They do it all the time. Absolutely. So watch this. If I told you that, if I said my children have never never sent me a Twitter post, would I be intentionally lying if in fact my daughter did send me a Twitter post?
Well, no, but see, Erica had his phone.
Okay, well, and that's okay. I'm gonna get there as well. I'm about to get there in a second.
Okay.
I'm about to get there. But if I said hold on, let me go ahead and there we go. I'm gonna be my wife for a second. If my wife said, I don't think my kids never text my husband a Twitter post because she knows I really don't use Twitter on my phone. So she would she be lying or would she be ill-informed?
Okay, when you put it in that light, okay.
Okay, because Erica made it very clear, and Candace did as well, that the message that was the whole "they're going to kill me" was sent through iMessage. So it wasn't your normal text message. And the only reason I brought that up, WMD, is sure, we make mistakes, but even in that, I think you can see it in our interaction right here. I am showing you graciousness and being courteous to you. I've not called you any names. I did not do anything to pick a fight with you. Is that fair?
Oh yeah. I didn't come up to fight with you. I'm listening to you.
I could have come in hot. And been acting all ridiculous with you. But I said, no, that's not the way to do it. Because first of all, we're men, and I understand that we can probably not understand technology. This is your first time on the screen. I do appreciate you coming on, and we figured it out, right? But am I going to sit here and say, well, you lying to me that you hear two voices, or you're lying to me that you hear the audio twice? No, I realize that I can be gracious to that and say, okay, he might not have known that he had the YouTube app still open. And if you have the app open, you're going to hear my voice twice. I'm not saying that you're a liar, that you're a terrible person, or that you're trying to bring down the technology infrastructure of the world because of that. No, I'm just saying he made a mistake. And so why can't we not say that Erica did not have the right information and she made a mistake?
Well, I'm looking at my marriage. My wife knows more about what's in my phone than I do sometimes.
That's fair.
and so that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, okay, my wife, she tells me, hey, you got a text message from so-and-so this morning. Check your messages.
Mm-hmm. And that's more than fair. The problem is I'm more tech savvy than my wife. I communicate with my team on an app that my wife doesn't use. So it is very so somebody could say, hey, I text message Jason. If Mark, y'all know Mark, infamous Mark, if he told my wife, hey, I text message Jason, she's going to go to the native app, the text message app on my phone. She's not going to see a conversation with me and Mark. So she says Mark didn't email or Mark didn't text message Jason. Did she lie?
Well, no, technically no.
So she didn't know that Mark and I communicate. My team communicates with me through WhatsApp. Now, once she opens up WhatsApp, everything's there. So in all honesty, she was 100% correct in saying Mark did not text message Jason, because I didn't. I WhatsApped him. or FaceTime or iMessage, fill in the blank, Instagram, Twitter, all those other ways that we communicate. So, and that's the thing. My position with Candace is that she makes it sound like you're a terrible person because you didn't know that you were communicating through another text message. Now, we use the term text message very generically.
Right.
But if I say that I text message Mark, I've already told you that I don't text message Mark. He doesn't have my native text message app. We use what? WhatsApp. But I use the word text message.
Okay.
Did I just lie? Did I lie when I said that?
No, but I like your argument versus now you said don't worry about the people in the chat. Well, I started off in the chat and everyone's, oh, he's a demon, he's a Candace bot. And I'm like, what?
I mean, okay, the best live chat on the internet. Okay, I'm gonna put them all in 0 second timeout. They're all in 0 second timeout. Okay, we have WMD and Jay Witt have made peace. We come on. You know what?
We were never at odds. We were never at odds.
Bro, absolutely. He can come back to Fellowship Hour, y'all. Make sure he gets premium donuts, right? We okay, and this is why.
But I understand your point. You said you're the more tech savvy, like you just proved. My wife is the more tech savvy out of us. So okay, that makes sense to me. That's more of a rational discussion than just, hey, oh, you're following Candace. Oh, you're a bot. Oh, she's your queen. And I'm like, wait, how do we jump to just following Candace? I'm not a follower of anyone but Jesus.
Okay, I love it. And this is why I ask people to go ahead and hit the link, because we're reading comments in here. You might be addressing, 8 people up and 9 people behind, and it's hard to understand what's going on. But I said, hey, if you hit the link, we can understand. And
you got me out of bed. Now I got to go make this omelet and everything. I got to get up and get ready today. Now,
see, I'm getting your day started, man. I'm look. The best part of waking up is Jay Witt on the podcast. Absolutely, but the goal is not to, because I understand, and I think most people understand. Reading the chat sometimes gets a little bit spicy. Reading the chat sometimes gets confusing. You might miss a comment and things can go left, or you might be addressing somebody else, and I think you talk about me. That's why I say, hey, let's just hear it out real quick. And so I understand your position. Erica said that Charlie didn't text anybody, they're going to kill me the night before, or whatnot of that nature. And in all honesty, when she came back and found out that it was iMessage, she said it was an iMessage. So it wasn't technically a text message, it was iMessage. And that is, and most of us had that problem or had that situation happen. I'm sorry. So, but even above that, I want the takeaway to be that we should at least strive to be gracious to people and say, okay, let me understand this. Because let me ask you this question. And I feel like we've addressed that, but let me ask this question. If that's the only story that she told, in the old sense that our moms and grandparents would use, if that's the only lie that she told, what would be the point of it? Like, okay, so fine, she lied about the text message. What else? You're saying she didn't lie about anything else, then what would be the upshot? What would be the point of that?
Well, and no other lies that concerned me, like where she was, like a fort and all that. That's a road that I'm not willing to go down. There's no help. You pick some random guy. Hey, you see me on live now. Somebody could come back later and say, oh, I saw that same guy here. I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
I agree with you. So even in that, I'm like, well, unless you're willing to go down that rabbit hole, like what is okay, fine. They made a mistake. Like I'm not willing to say that was a lie without any like that. So that's why I brought that up.
Now that we've had that discussion, I'm like, because when I first clicked on this morning, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, they say she's a liberal. And then, of course, I had to remember that, Candace was a liberal. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us was a liberal. I'm in my late 40s now. Okay. I was kind of liberal in my early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't become conservative until I became a father. Once you get kids, you want a different world.
Babies can change you. I agree with that 100%. No argument for me at all. No argument at all. So And again, and I appreciate you hopping on again. I'm glad we were able to have this conversation. I think it was amicable. I don't think it was at all adversarial. And I want people to see, like, that's why I asked y'all to come on, because I do realize that I could probably be missing and misinterpreting, and I read a comment a certain way because I'm reading it from where I'm sitting. And that might not be where you were sitting or where you were intending it to come from. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, I realize that, the internet is confrontation. You get views, you get clicks, that's what happens.
Yeah. And you know what? I think Amethyst, this is my sister from another mister. She just said this, and I think this is definitely appropriate to you as well. Thank you for the participation. We appreciate your conversation. You've shown humility and proven that we all, she had capital letter, all can learn something new. Blessings. See? And I think that's right on the button, man. You, again, that's why I would like having these conversations, because I don't want people to think that, I'm over here just trying to come off the top rope, putting people in headlocks. Like, I want to understand and such of that nature. And I think that's ultimately where we benefit and we made better.
I don't believe you can just stick in one camp and think like there's some policies that you may not agree with, but overall, do you agree with certain principles? If you stick to principles, the line blurs between, well, I agree with this or I agree with that, because I don't think you can agree with anybody 100% on any situations at all times.
Oh, there's no argument for me at all. Then I don't think we ever going to agree. I don't agree with myself all the time, right? So there's that reality. I do think you have to be a principled person. So I'll use Officer Tatum, because y'all know I did a lot of videos on him yesterday. I'm like, if and I don't know where you land with that. So now I'm hopefully you ain't gonna come off the top rope on me. I don't feel that first of all, Tatum answering the question, who is God? He answered that question wrong. And so everything else underneath that is just evidence that Tatum has a different God than the God.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Tatum doesn't believe that Jesus is God. I'm sorry. He doesn't believe Jesus is God, but he also doesn't believe in the Trinity. And by default, that's going to change how you land in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, I believe that what we see now with Brandon Tatum being willing to print Candace's shirt that's making fun of Erica and the kids and other places where he's landed is because he doesn't have a foundation that has answered that question correctly. Who is God? So I'm okay. I have friends who are liberals. Okay. And we argue about different things of that nature, but there's certain things that we're very, very dogmatic about, and we are 100% lockstep. Now,
I'm glad you brought up the liberal.
They might still believe in, SNAP benefits for everybody on the planet, but we do agree. And I'm like, we argue about that. I disagree with you 1,000% about that, but we do agree that it is a man and a woman. They should be married till death do them part, and they make little people, and they keep raising those little people to wash, rinse, and repeat. We do agree on that.
Right.
We disagree about some financial policies and such of that nature. We might disagree about the war in Iran, but a lot of other things we agree on. So, I'm going to fight you about marriage. I am not going to fight you about SNAP. I'm not going to do that. We're going to argue about it, and y'all just going to do what you're going to do. I'm not until that policy changes. So that's all I'm saying, is that we can disagree on certain things. But
because marriage is based in on a principle and in reality. SNAP, that's a yeah, we can argue over that.
We can duke it out all day long on SNAP, but I'm not going to fight with you about marriage. That is the first institution that God made. I'm not going to sit there and try to change it, and a pox upon us for trying to change it. So to answer your question, yes, we can disagree and have some nuance and add some shade, if you will, but there are certain things that are truly black and white.
Yes, and marriage is one of those.
Marriage is a black and white issue.
Yes.
Man and woman, death do us part. That's it. Everything else, y'all playing, that's on y'all. Y'all going out there and play hand grenades in the dark if you want to. That's going to be on you. I'm not agreeing with that. So
I had made a comment in the chat about, I was telling the chat, like, hey, let's not demonize everybody right off. Let's not just say, oh, this person is a devil. And I likened it to the liberals with racism.
Mhm.
Everything's racism with them. I don't care what it is. You say something, it's, oh, that's racist. You do something, oh, that's racist. And I'm like, that diminishes the power of actually pointing out real racism. And I don't want us to get caught up with calling everyone a demon or a devil. Those words have real meaning and real power. Let's not just use them just because we disagree.
That's fair. That's fair. And no argument for me. And again, and maybe it's just because, and I don't want you to think that I'm just taking this like willy-nilly. I've done this for a long time. I'm going on my 5th year doing YouTube. Once I retired from teaching, I've seen a lot of trends. Right? And one of those, and I've seen a lot of things, and I realized you cannot take the live chat pound for pound. I don't say pound for pound. You, like, for example, here. Thank you so much, Prissy Chrissy. She says, I'm sorry to WMD for any harsh words. Okay. Now, she may not have meant them to be harsh when she wrote it, and I don't know what she said, and I do appreciate this, and I think this is the spirit of the chat. She might not have meant them to be harsh, or maybe she did. I don't know that, but I do realize that it's hard to know that for a fact because I am reading the comment.
Right.
And I'm putting my own bias on it, and sometimes it and again, people say some bad stuff about me in my chat. Like, I've got people saying, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna tell you something. If you want to come on here, I can tell you some terrible things about Belinda's son. I will tell you some stuff. I'll tell you something. You don't even know the half of it, right? I will tell you that because I realize that, you know what, I might be reading this wrong, or I might be putting my own bias in this, or I might assume something because they got a picture of Cat Williams or they got a New York skyline, and I just assume something about them that maybe isn't true. And so that's why I like to have people come on. So I do apologize. Again, I understand they probably were saying, maybe they were harsh, and maybe they did mean them harsh, but I think most of us probably are like Prissy Chrissy right here saying, you know what, my bad. We didn't come across. We didn't mean that like that. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
And Amethyst came back and said this: written communications require that one be intentional in expressing nuance. I can be heavy-handed as a mod. Mea culpa. Please forgive me, WMD. So, and that's it. I mean, I think we that was cool that we had an opportunity to hear what you were saying. I think once people heard what you're saying and your position, I think it became clear that maybe we didn't understand, or maybe it was coming across, in the chat. The chat is where it is sometimes. We be broad brushing sometimes up in the chat. It's okay.
Well, I understand because I did see some comments where you getting paid, and I'm like, what? He gets paid? Who's paying him?
Here, come right here. I'm paid. Johnny just told me that I'm paid by Israel. So, okay, this is adorable because this
and those are the arguments. That's a rabbit hole. I don't go down those. Unless I see Israel giving you a check, I can't say you getting paid by Israel.
Well, see, there we go. So this is, and the only reason I want to bring this up while you're here is because I want you to see this is one of the things. I don't know anything about you, WMD. So for me to make a blanket statement like that and to say that you're getting paid by fill in the blank organization, in all honesty, you know what that is, right? It's the thing that brought us together this morning. What is it? It's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's an outright lie because you don't know this. Johnny doesn't know this. Johnny don't know what Johnny talking about. Johnny's just running on Johnny's mouth. And Johnny can go ahead and hit that link at the top, and Johnny can show me where I got paid, getting paid by Israel, because I don't know where it is because I'm looking at my account and I don't see it. So Johnny, Johnny, are you okay? Are you okay, my dude? Anyway.
That's what I want to. America needs to come together under principles and not under parties, not under races. We need to come together under principles. I think at one point in time we had principles, but society is moving us so far away from principle, that type of thinking. Now we have feelings. How do you feel? And you might know who I'm talking about when I go down that road. I'm not, I'm,
No,
when I go to, I don't know, because, you know, you get blocked on YouTube for certain things.
No, I agree with you 100%. There are, there's going to have to be there's definitely some, party affiliation. I think they call it tribalism and such of that nature. I agree with you 100%. The problem is, in my opinion, we have made the pursuit, and I did this yesterday in my video yesterday, looking at the book of Psalm, where some put their trust in horses, some put their trust in chariots, but our trust is in the Lord. And at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, we do need to have a come to Jesus and have a discussion. Are we trusting too much in politics? Are we trusting too much in government and external and man-made factors? Or are we actually trusting God? And if we have a true heart to heart, and we really, there's a lot of people that have to admit, yeah, I'm trusting in man. I'm trusting in 1600 Pennsylvania. I'm trusting in the Gold Dome. I'm not trusting God is in control of ultimately over these of all of our affairs. And so that problem needs to be dealt with before I think people will let go of WMD. And I'll let you go so you can get your breakfast, but let go of the high level of tribalism and the weapons grade party affiliations, because they won't do it until they actually realize that, yeah, I'm trusting God, not man. So I can reach across the aisle because I know that God is going to help us make sense as I reach across the aisle to help or work with somebody that maybe ideologically I disagreed with last Tuesday.
Okay. I appreciate you from letting me come up and talking me out of bed. Now I got to go get to work.
Get at it, man. Get at it.
Man, today's off day. I want to just relax and enjoy myself.
Well, you guess what, man? You have our permission. You just got out, go grab you a little quick coffee, get some water, go check your mailbox, and get jump back in the bed. We will not tell anybody. We're not going to tell anybody WMD is still in the BED. So go back to bed.
Appreciate you.
You got it, man. Thanks, you friend. Grace and peace. That was WMD. Now, see, look, y'all, we got a new friend. Shout out. There we go. Glad he was able to come on, man. That was a lot of fun, man. And it was good to, again, and hopefully all my others, people in there accusing me of getting money. Why I look so short? Okay. I feel like I'm short. Anyway, people accusing me of getting paid by Israel. Y'all, come on, hit the link. Just hit the link and tell me that I'm getting paid. Let me check my phone real quick. Check my account. No, I ain't getting paid by Israel. I didn't. Shout out to WMD. Okay, what is this? Go glow. Oh my gosh, I've been trying to figure out what that says. Go glow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, there we go. Well, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. All right, looking through here, lots of good conversation back and forth. Y'all, I appreciate y'all tapping in with your boy this morning. That was a lot of fun, man. We got a lot of people on X this morning checking me out. What's going on, my X people? We got the best live chat. We got to come up with a name for the X. I don't want to call him my ex. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't have an ex. I won't do that. But guys, I'm awesome. How you worked that out? This needed more. Never saw anyone bring up chatter and work it from. You know what? Hey, I like talking to people. Y'all know I'm used to being a school teacher. I love people. Like it's a joke with my brother, because I'll be on the phone with him and I'll go through the line at Starbucks, and he's like in awe that I know all of the baristas at Starbucks. I'm like, why don't you know your baristas at Starbucks? I said, I know people at my Kroger. I know people at my Publix. I know people at my gas station I go to. Like, why don't you go talk to people? It's like, I've never thought of that. I was like, I guess you're going to be traumatized about the fact that I know my baristas' phone numbers. They have my phone numbers. And then again, so I like talking to people, man. I go places, man. I just like talking to folk. Yeah, don't let me go somewhere and I'm bored because I'll just go around and start talking. I will literally work the whole room. I like talking to folk. So I do this because I like to talk to people. And once I retired from teaching, I'm like, man, I don't got anybody to talk to. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to y'all. But I realize that there's a lot of the problems that we have is that people tend to not understand. We don't understand each other for whatever reason. There's some communication breakdown. So I always like to say, hey, if I can have a conversation with somebody, I think I will better understand them. There's a rare instances where I say I have a conversation with somebody and I still don't understand them. Now, I might not, I still might not like them, but I understand them a little bit better. So yeah, I like talking to folks. So, and I realize that especially over here on this Best Live chat, there's no way I fully understand what's going on. So I'm like, hey, why don't you just come on? Oh, I love talking to people, man. Oh, I love it. It used to be a game when my daughters were smaller. I think I told y'all this story. We would go places and like, again, like I've gone to weddings and have become the MC. I've gone to events where nobody knows me and I'm sitting at the head table. It used to be a game. Like we would go to events, me, my wife, and my girls, and we'd be like, okay, first of all, what dad do you want at this party or at this event? All right, we want social butterfly dad. Okay, what do you want me to do? You have 30 minutes to get 15 people's names and the name of their dog. Say less. Let's go. If it's you're gonna have time left over. Or dad, I bet you can't go and speak on that microphone at that event. How much time do I have? And next thing you know, dad is on the microphone. Mom, look at dad is over there. Oh my gosh, it was the best. we just had fun. So anyway, I like talking. I like people. I like people. So that being the case over here, I enjoy doing this. What do you say? Mr. J. Witt, you are a teacher. That's probably one of the reasons you like to talk. Oh, definitely. I think also people like to be talked to. I do think that people like to know that they're valuable to another person, even if it's just something simple enough as me asking you, how are you doing? And really caring about how you're doing, looking you in the eye and such like that. I like, okay, I'll tell you another really bad story. Don't tell anybody this story, okay? Don't tell anybody. Promise me, you're not gonna tell anybody this story. So when we started attending the church that we go to, it was much more vanilla than it is today, right? There was a smattering of Black people there, but it was predominantly a white church. Most people would have said our church was a white church. Okay, so my daughters and I, we would make this game. Whenever a couple came or a family came or a person there that was not a white person, right? We would say, okay, make sure, I've never seen this person before. So make sure you go and introduce yourself to them, so on and so forth. So we would like, okay, whose week is it? Okay, we saw that person there. Whose week is it? Is yours chief executive, second born? Okay, you got to go find out the names of their kids and where did they come from and how they found the church. And that's what we would do. And we still do it to this day. We were doing it Sunday. And now the church has become very diverse. I mean, we got a lot of, we say that we are the reason why there's so many other people groups there. It's just God's grace. But I bring that up because we like to, I don't know, we like being hospitable. And we also know that people really like knowing when somebody comes and asks you and say, hey, I see you're new here. Welcome. Do you have any concerns, comments, anything we help you out with? You don't know where childcare is. Let me show you where childcare is. Fellowship hours over here. Let me show you where the fellowship hall is and get you some coffee, donuts, whatever like that. And people are concerned about, people do like that. And so, I just enjoy that. That's just me. And I don't really know where I was going with that story. I don't remember where I was going. I don't remember. But just have mercy on me. What's going on? Good morning to you. Welcome. Good to see you. I gave you an assigned flavor. Why y'all so, oh, because of vanilla. Y'all are so wild, man. Uh-oh, I love your racism hidden in laughter. Wow. Hey, how's that? What did I say? Hold on. What did I say that was hidden? What did I say? You got to tell me what I did there. Oh, whew. I was worried. Thank you. Please, please. Oh yeah, I'm the extrovert friend. I'm the one. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, President Firstborn got me beat because one thing I had never done is I'd never done karaoke before. I'd never done karaoke before. Okay, so big girl is 18 now. So this was probably about 8 years ago. She might have been even younger than that. But we went on a cruise, and somehow or another, my big girl, President Firstborn, she wanted to do karaoke. And for some reason or another, they were doing karaoke every night. They would have family karaoke and then adult karaoke. So let's say family karaoke was like 7, and the adult karaoke was at like 8:30. And every night she was down there singing. And I had to find it. I had the videos of her. She was little. She was a little person up there singing. And it was just the funniest thing. Somehow or another, she got me up there one night to sing with her. And by the way, Lady Dear Woke Christian is extremely introverted, but she'll get on that cruise ship and she'll get a little bit loose too. So she wanted to sing. Darn it. What was that song? Anyway, somehow or another, my daughter and my wife got me up there singing karaoke. And I have to admit, it was so much fun. It was so fun. So the next night, I got there early, and somehow or another, I talked the cruise person into allowing me to MC for the karaoke. And we just had a blast. So I don't think I've done it much after that. It's just Big Girl. Big Girl likes doing it. I'm sorry. And Chief Executive Second Born, they both like it. But I don't, I'm trying to remember why we haven't done it. Maybe I need to do that next time. Y'all don't want to hear me singing, though. Y'all really don't. That's not what you woke up this morning for. You're like, look, Jason, go back to bed. Go back to sleep. You did not wake up to hear me singing. But, let me tell y'all a joke. Okay, Monday. And I promise I'm going to get out of here. I'm stop talking. Remember Monday, I was playing that video from Earth, Wind, and Fire because I was talking about music that makes you want to dance. And I was like, okay, I'm going to mute the video because that way I won't get the copyright strike. Do you know I got a copyright strike for playing the video? And they would not allow me to edit the video out of it. So I actually had to take the video down because they gave me a copyright strike for that, for playing the video that's on YouTube with no music. I'm like, man, that's messed up. So that's why if you see on my channel, the Monday morning live stream is not under the live streams, it's under video. Because I had to take it down, cut that part out, and then re-upload it. I said, man, that is messed up. Okay, anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. So anyway, that's why that happened. If you were wondering. Can't carry a tune in a bucket. I probably could sing well, but I don't understand it. I didn't think that it's too late though. That's the part. So like I already pulled the video up, and then when they give you the copyright strike, usually they give you some options like you can mute music or edit it out or replace the music, stuff like that. They don't give you that option for that. Like they literally said, this whole video is copywritten. So literally was like 3 minutes maybe of us talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I took the video down, cut that little part out, because usually they allow you to cut it out. So if I was playing some copywritten music, most of the time they allow you will give you the opportunity to cut the music out or replace the music or something like that. But they didn't even give me that. And it wasn't even any music though. That's the part that I didn't get. Did I see? Wait, Candace started to read a super chat from her teleprompter and then scrambled. I didn't see that. Send it to me. Oh, beforehand? Well, it was like impromptu. I was just running my mouth talking. So I guess I could have, but I don't know. Like I've never seen them like not allow you to go in and cut the video out. Because I've done this before. I've played a video, pulled up somebody's video, and they got copyrighted music in the video that they might have paid for, but I didn't pay for it. So then I'm getting the ding, right? And they'll usually give you an opportunity to go in and clip that out of there, just kind of cut it out. It usually takes about 30 minutes or so for the system to edit the music out, and then you're good to go. I have no idea why I did that. I agree. It's just about control. I never, and I guess I wish I had, if I were like doing music review shows or video reviews, I guess I would know that. I didn't know that. So Heather Rose said, sounds like the entire music video was copywritten, audio and video. See, I didn't think about that. I just thought, oh, if I don't play the music, you'll let me go. And I was just talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire for whatever reason, which, by the way, why was I doing that? So I did a community post. Let me see, pull it up real quick. I did a community post making fun of Brandon Tatum and his whole let me pull it in real quick. It's so wild. All right. So my argumentation is that, Brandon Tatum said, money is money. Like he'll print anything. I said, okay, well, would he print this? And so my little logo says money over morals. I wonder, would he print this? Like, would he print this? And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, at this point in the game, after watching him yesterday, he probably would. But I just think that's odd that's the position. Like, well, money is money. Like, no, not all, that's like I was saying to WMD, like there has to be a moral standing. You have to have a moral standing. And maybe maybe it's bad positioning. Maybe you need to write better contracts. Maybe you need to make a better position. Like we still reserve the right to not do content that we find immoral or we find denigrates God or makes fun of somebody or whatever like that. You could still do that. But also something else that I thought about is, Brandon Tatum says that Candace is his friend. And he makes a lot of hay about the fact that he knows Candace. She's his friend. They've known each other for a long time. Like, why would a friend of yours put you in a position that would compromise your morals? Like, you have some best friends from college, some good guy or girlfriends from college or from work, and y'all really roll together. Would they take you to a place that would cause you to compromise your marriage commitment? Like, no. Or you wouldn't say, well, I had to go to the club because it's my friend. My friend told me to go. Like, no, you wouldn't do that. Why would your friend put you in that position? And so I guess I'm wondering, like, Brandon, why would your friend put you in a position where you'd have to make this decision? Candace had to know that Brandon is much more Israel adjacent or Charlie Kirk adjacent. Why would she give you a shirt to print that would cause you to compromise your position like that? And you just did, this at AmFest gave Erica Kurt $300,000 from some of the merch that y'all sold on their behalf. Like, but you would print a shirt that would mock them. It seemed like your friend is setting you up more than anything else, in my opinion. It just seemed like, well, why would your friend do that to you? It's the manager's fault. Melinda said it's the manager's fault. That video was so interesting because it just seemed like, bruh, let it go, my dude. You done said it. You done positioned yourself out of the company. You don't take a salary from the company. You sign contracts. You don't engage with the customer. Like, just let it go, Brandon. Just stop. I don't know. And again, I talked to a lawyer about it just very briefly yesterday. And so I try to get understanding, like you could get out of a contract like that. If it's really that bad, you can buy them out of the position. You can go ahead and get them another place because again, really at the end of the day, they just want the shirt printed. So if you say, hey, there's a shirt company over on the other side of the office park that will do it, and you work it out for them and you do that, then nobody's losing anything. And you just say, hey, moving forward, we're not going to do content like this. It needs to be certain standard. And if that's not acceptable, then buy them out of the contract. You might lose money. But is all money good money? I don't know. I don't think that's the case. Oh, okay. I don't think she does. I don't think she knows how to be a friend. Everything is transactional exchange. It seems extreme because once you run afoul of her friendship, is off to the races. It seems like once you run afoul, it is off to the races. All right. Lots of good commentary. Thank y'all so much, everybody. All right. What do we have here? Yeah, but even in that, like Pilot needed to who was that? There was Pilot in this example here. Thank you, Billy. There was two options: crucify Christ or not. The option of washing your hands of it wasn't an option. It's a non-option, if you will. And so in this example here, Pilate still is the man that crucified Christ. Now, of course, it was God's will that Christ be crucified, so it wasn't like he was not going to get out of that anyway. However, in Brandon's situation, Brandon does have other real options. He could print the shirt, sure. He could not print the shirt, sure, but there are going to be some ramification. There are consequences. However, those consequences are not just and again, you're saying your friend is going to sue you for you having a moral position that doesn't align with their vision. But you're going to keep crashing out saying that Candace is your friend, but you're also going to say your friend's going to sue you. Okay. Just let that settle in. I don't think that's his friend. With friends like Candace, who needs enemies? Yeah. Good people. Oh, wait. I'm telling you, Candace Owens is an injustice collector, and keeping text messages for years on end is one of the ways she does it. No, there's no lie there. There's no lie. And again, I think, I mean, the way that Candace moves is addressing Charlie Kirk. I think it's fair to say she's done that to all of the people who profess to be her friend. So, that's probably why, Brandon Tatum knows that he done sent some emails or some text messages, some WhatsApp, some whatever iMessages that are not very good. So if he does go left, it could go wrong if she brings it out. That's what I think is the problem, in my opinion. She uses things as blackmail. I mean, that's crazy work, but you're right. Who has the time to do that? She does. But most normal people don't behave like that. That's the problem. No lie detected. No lie detected. Yeah, but see, that should not be the case, man. I have friends, and we've had falling outs. I've had friends that I talk about on this channel that I consider my brothers. We've had seasons where we've fallen out with one another. Right? I have a friend right now, today, who is a Cantifa activist. Love him like a biscuit. We had some terrible text messages. We got horrible conversations. And I'm like, there's no way, even though we disagree, even right now at this moment, on on March 18th, we are in disagreement about Candace. And this person is not very favorable to your boy. I'm not going to burn him down. I'm not going to burn him down. I'm not going to call his wife and send his text messages to her. That's insane. That's just not right. Now, do I want us to get our relationship right? Absolutely. I want our relationship to be right because I like the person. That being the case, we have to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation like me and WMD had. I don't know. That one might be, me and WMD was super tame compared to what would probably happen if I brought this person on. But I'm not gonna burn him down though. That's the last thing. That's not even a thought. I'm not thinking, well, I'm about to bankrupt his whole life. Why would you do that? Wow, 2 hours talking about Candace. Well, you can come over and we can talk. I mean, the link is at the top, Automotive Truth. You just click the link and you can come on. We can talk about what you want to talk about. You want to talk about automotive truth, which y'all do? I like to hear about that. Break it up some. Hit the link. I ask, no profanity, and let your camera be on. There you go. You got something cool to say? I want to hear what you got to say. Becky says this is the Christian gospel, that Christ took my punishment, died my death for my sins, so I would not have to. Died 3 days, first resurrected, my part in acknowledgement I'm a sinner. I need a savior. There we go. It's very simple. Yeah, man, we talked about karaoke, man. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Talked about when I go to events and talk in Shanghai, the MC. Come on, we've talked about a lot of stuff. Automotive truth. And I want to talk about automotive truth, man. I got some questions about my car. So if you want to come on and help a brother out, that'd be amazing. Jason, sharing Charlie's text messages is also a message to everyone else, right? That she'll share theirs too. So don't mess with her. Man, that's messed up. Man, can you imagine that? Oh, that's terrible. That's just so grimy. I don't know the way around that, man. That's crazy work, man. That's crazy work. All right, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna do something fun. I think is beneficial. I think you'll enjoy. And by the way, if Automotive Truth wants to come and set me straight, you're welcome to. I don't know if they really meant to or not. I don't know if they really want to help a brother out. Okay. Well, Automotive Truth gets themselves together, because I would love for them to hit the link. That would be fun. I'm gonna do something different. I'm going to play a quick video that I think you all will find extremely beneficial. So I'm going to do this to encourage you all. And then of course, if somebody wants to set me straight, oh, do we got Automotive Truth? We got Automotive Truth in the building. Could you please turn your camera on? There we go. What's going on?
Hey,
What's
friend.
happening? How are you?
How are you? I'm
Quite
good.
well, thank
Blessings, sir.
Blessings.
Hang on a minute. I got to shut something off here because I hear a echo.
You have the YouTube app open in the background.
Can you hear me, friend?
I can. Do you hear?
Yeah,
do you hear
yeah,
double
everybody
speak
can
still
see
or
me.
no? Yep, I got you.
No, not anymore. No, I shut it off.
There we
Thank you. Thank you for the input. So I'm on vacation in Puerto Rico right now, out with my family. So we're up in, as you can see, in the mountains. So
you just gonna rub it in?
I'm not sure.
You just gonna rub it in, and I'm over here in Atlanta, and I can't see that beauty. See,
So listen.
See, that's messed up. That's messed up.
Listen, many blessings to you, Jay Witt. Thank you so much for your content. You are a blessing. And I just saw the title of exposing Candace, and then I saw 2 hours, and so no shade. It was just simply wow, 2 hours talking about this woman. But hang on a minute, though. I want to say something because I saw Brandon Tatum over there saying something about the new video or something about a phone call with Erica and all that stuff. And he's like, and I would just want to say this, and then we'll cut it. He said, "Oh, all these people talking about Candace, all these people, I'm sorry, about Charlie and Erica. And, where were these people when Charlie was alive talking about Erica and so forth?" And so I put in the chat, I said, yeah, your girl Candace, sister friend, Kumba has opened the demonic portal for all these people to come in and start chiming in. Now, nothing towards you, because I know that you're doing the content towards Candace yourself, but so many portals have been opened. All I see on my feed, and because I watch your content and some of Tatum's content, not really Candace, because I already know what that door is about. It just, all my feed has been flooded about speaking always about Candace talking about Erica, and all these things, and just so no shade towards your channel. I love you. I love all the live chat and all that. I totally enjoy it, but we continue to talk about these things, and just the portal gets bigger and bigger. The demonic portal of this thing that is, just bashing Erica and the legacy that was Charlie Kirk, and it hurts my heart. But anyways, do what you do. I love you. Sending love from Puerto Rico and blessings. And so carry on.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming through. Please enjoy your family, and do me this favor. Hug everybody that you see and enjoy some of that sunlight. Get a lot of it. And if you don't mind, put it in a bag or something and send it to me. I'll send you my email. It looks beautiful out there for sure. But thank you, friend.
It is absolutely, and I said we're not in no tourist area. This is like we're straight in the middle of Calle Puerto Rico. We're in the right in the center. And yeah, check out the Automotive Truth. By the way, yes, you want any tips or anything? My husband and I have a wonderful podcast. We're not as big as you, Jay Witt. We're just trying to get there. But a few years, my husband and I, we have a automotive repair shop, and we've been in the automotive business for 25+ years, and so we give a lot of contents about politics and stuff like that too, but a lot of automotive truth, like I say, and we are saved, Holy Ghost filled, and and all that good stuff.
Okay, wait, real quick. Where are you located? Where are y'all located?
Okay.
No, where do y'all live?
We're actually we live in Texas, sir. We live in Austin area, Texas. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I just went ahead and dropped your link in the chat. Y'all check out the Automotive Truth podcast, and I'm just scanning through here. Okay, this will not be the last time we speak. How about that? Is that fair?
Great, wonderful. I love it.
All right, we'll make that happen.
I love it. I receive it.
Wonderful. Enjoy Puerto Rico, and we'll see you real soon.
Blessings, sir.
Bless you. Take care, young lady. Again, this is why you don't take what you read on the chat. I read this like she was calling me out. I read that like she was saying something mean. And see, that's why you gotta shout out, man. Shout out to Automotive Truth. Yeah, y'all check her out. She and her husband do a podcast. I'm telling y'all, a lot of things get resolved when you just talk to people. I'm just looking at their channel. They have a fun channel. Okay, I want to talk to them some more. But again, how great was that? Instead of being all wild and all that, it just had her come on and answer the question. I misunderstood. I literally misunderstood that because I thought she was saying something about it and see. But God used my ignorance to introduce us to a new content creator. Shout out to she and her family. That's cool. Shout out to them. All right. So I'm gonna do something different. We're gonna transition, and we're gonna jump over. Where'd I go? Oh, did I close the video out? Jason, what a rookie. I am such a rookie. I had a great video for you all. I thought you all would get a lot of value out of, and I closed it out while I was talking to Automotive Truth. Got it. Okay, got it queued up. Okay, I think you'll enjoy this one. And I'm going to end on this. So I'm going to call this the end of the show. Thank you to everybody who jumped in. I appreciate every last one of y'all, not only for the super chats, but for the comments. Thank you to our guests that popped in today. I really do appreciate it. My goal, since we're going to family dinner tonight, probably won't be coming back this evening, but if something changes, I'll make sure I tell y'all ahead of time. But otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow. We will definitely body cam tomorrow. I got body cams ready for tomorrow. We're ready, and we'll play body cam bingo. I can't believe that body cam bingo is so crazy. Anyway, y'all, I want to give you this. Thank y'all so much to everybody. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you to the brand new members. Welcome. Thank you to those gifted memberships. Thank you to everybody who supported the channel today. I really do appreciate it. I got a good video for you. I think you all will enjoy. I'm going to call the game after this, but everybody, green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Without the preaching of the cross, without preaching the cross to ourselves all day and every day, we will very, very quickly revert to faith plus works as the ground of our salvation. So that, to go to the old Fort Lauderdale question, if you were to die tonight and you were getting entry into heaven, what would you say? If you answer that, and if I answer it in the first person, we've immediately gone wrong. Because I believed, because I have faith, because I am this, because I am continuing. Loved ones, the only proper answer is in the third person, because he. And think about the thief on the cross. And what an immense, I can't wait to find that fellow one day to ask him, how did that shake out for you? Because you were cussing the guy out with your friend. You've never been in a Bible study. You never got baptized. You didn't know a thing about church membership. And yet you made it. You made it. How did you make it? That's what the angel must have said, like, what are you doing here? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, because I don't know. Well, excuse me, let me get my supervisor. They go get the supervisor ranger. So we're just a few questions for you. First of all, are you clear on the doctrine of justification by faith? The guy said, I never heard of it in my life. And what about, let's just go to the doctrine of Scripture immediately. This guy's just staring. And eventually in frustration, he says, on what basis are you here? And he said, the man on the middle cross said, I can come. Now, that is the only answer. That is the only answer. And if I don't preach the gospel to myself all day and every day, then I will find myself beginning to trust myself, trust my experience, which is part of my fallenness as a man. If I take my eyes off the cross, I can then give only lip service to its efficacy, while at the same time living as if my salvation depends upon me. And as soon as you go there, it will lead you either to abject despair or a horrible kind of arrogance. And it is only the cross of Christ that deals both with the dreadful depths of despair and the pretentious arrogance of the pride of man that says, I can figure this out and I'm doing wonderfully well. No, because the sinless Savior died, my sinful soul is counted free. For God the just is satisfied to look on him and pardon me. That's why Luther says most of your Christian life is outside of you. In this sense, that we know that we're not saved by good works. We're not saved as a result of our professions, but we're saved as a result of what Christ has achieved.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.